Hey guys and welcome to the channel. Today I will be doing a what if, which is what if Deku became a demon slayer part 5. I did not make this what if fan fiction. The author of this amazing fan fiction is Lorenzo J10, so please support their work. Chapter 26, Overtime Teachers. Hibiki was trying to calm herself down as much as she could. As ninjas, her family was trained in several scenarios of combat and war. They all can say without a doubt one of the worst situations to be in was having an unpredictable turn of the tables against them. Hibiki was with some of the other ninjas who were hiding on the roofs. As she was the one controlling the hornets, she was kept out of confronting Yashiro. So even though she wasn't one of the ones that were surrounded, it did concern her that several members of her family were. The elder was a bit surprised by this turn of events. It was supposed to be a simple grab, and yet now we are surrounded by several UA teachers. Either our scouts failed to remain undetected while tailing the two, or this man was far more skilled than we gave him credit for. Either way, it matters little right now. Now is the time to act and deter them of our objectives, thought the elder. He stepped forward and did something that surprised the UA teachers. I don't know who you are exactly, but I thank you for saving us the trouble from tracking all of you down. The elder pulled out several papers that looked like bounties, one for each teacher of UA. Now we can kill you all right now. Oh yeah, said President Mike. Oh yeah, said the elder, then snapping his fingers. One ninja took out his two swords and hit them together. When they did, a sound wave ripped through the area. Sonic burst. The teachers all followed their instincts and tried to cover their ears. The ninjas then jumped, all picking their own targets. You're not the only ones who can make some noise, said President Mike. DJSCREAMMMMM. The force was so strong it blew some of the ninjas away. Eraserhead then jumped on a nearby fire escape. Cementos separate them. Cementos compiled using the concrete on the ground, raising several walls to try to either capture them or separate them. This would have normally worked, but these were ninjas and they knew the wall jump. They quickly bounced off the walls, jumping out of the heroes' traps, landing on the roofs. Don't underestimate us, said one ninja. Oh. Come, we must hurry, yelled All Might as he, Izuku and Ojiro were running as fast as they could. What's going on, All Might? Asked Ojiro, who was now worried and surprised at All Might's sudden change. Izuku dashed in front of All Might. Does this have something to do with the thing in Ojiro's neck? All Might stopped. The what in my what? Yelled Ojiro as he put his hands on his neck. There's something in my neck? I'm sorry, I didn't want to alarm you too, said All Might, alarming them. Now is not the time to panic. Now is the time to move, he said as he grabbed the two. Hold on tight. As All Might jumped into the sky. Oh. Snipe was shooting and dodging as he played the deadliest game of tag. For each shot he fired, the ninja he was fighting was tossing a shuriken to intercept his bullets. Snipe dodged out of the way as several stars embedded themselves into the wall behind him. Snipe then quickly shot several rounds back at the ninja, only for him to narrowly dodge each bullet, even the ones that changed directions to home in on the ninja. The ninja then closed the gap and got his blade ready to take Snipe's head. Snipe quickly fired more bullets, which at first missed as he raised his gun to catch the ninja's blade. It ain't going to be that easy, as the bullets he fired came back and hit both sides of the ninja's blade, shattering it. The ninja then kicked Snipe to get away. Snipe used the opportunity to fire more shots at his opponent. The ninja did a side flip as several ninja stars flew around him, intercepting the bullets. The ninja landed with the stars still spinning around him in the air. You're right. This isn't going to be easy. Snipe quickly reloaded his gun. I hope the others are having an easier time than me. Oh. President Mike was screaming his lungs out at three ninjas. sending them so far back with the sheer force of his voice. One ninja back flipped out of the way while grabbing something off of his back. It was something wrapped in a cloth. He ripped it off, revealing an electric guitar. With a flick of his hand, a very small dagger appeared in his hand. "Time to outrock you," he said as he used the dagger as a pick, strumming the guitar, causing a sound wave to cancel out Present Mike's scream. Present was surprised by the new development but was also very interested. "Well, there's something I didn't expect to see. A ninja shooting on a guitar. Doesn't that go against the whole silent but deadly thing you ninjas do? Silence is simply the lack of sound. So understand silence, one must understand sound. Not to mention too much sound can be an effective weapon, don't you agree?" said the ninja as he positioned himself parallel to Present Mike. Both ready for a Western showdown. "Well, can't deny that," said Present Mike, "so you want to have a little concert with me, huh? Do you really think you can keep up with me? Let's see what will go out first, my guitar strum or your throat," he said as he began strumming hard. Present Mike smiled as the sound wave was coming. "Oh yeah, this is my kind of FFFFFFFIIGGGGHTT." The two sound waves collide as neither was giving any ground. Present Mike kept screaming while the ninja kept strumming. The ninja was impressed. He nor did any of the other ninjas expect someone to be able to keep screaming for so long. Though this isn't a fair fight. One of the other ninjas snuck around to behind Present Mike, without hesitating strike to calm the hero's life. "No you don't," as a capture tool wrapped around the ninja's arm and pulling them away from Present Mike's screaming match. "You're fighting me," said Eraserhead. The ninja stood up with his arm still wrapped by the capture weapon. The ninja raised his hand to chop the scarf with his hand glowed red, but when it connected the hand was normal. The ninja then looked to see Eraserhead's eye glowing red and that he had one eyebrow raised as if asking if the ninja was serious. "Hey, it doesn't hurt to try," said the ninja as he grabbed his sword. "Don't think I need my quirk to handle you." "Well, it sounds like there's a rock concert over there," said Midnight as she filled the area around her with her sleeping gas. The gas was so thick that it was hard for anyone to see anything, though no one was able to see her. "I don't suppose you would like to come down and watch, do you?" Her reply was the form of several knives landing around her. Above the gas cloud were several ninjas clinging to the walls of the alley, and one of the ninjas was standing on the wall itself. "Come now, miss, do you really think it would be that easy to beat us? Clearly you must see that you are the one who is at the disadvantage. Your gas cannot rise and you clearly have no ability or talent to come up here. The most you can do is to stay hidden in your gas. Though soon one of us will be able to hit you. You can't hide forever." Midnight bit her lip slightly. "I hate to say it, but he's right. I'm on the defensive here. I need to fix that quickly or else I might end up being a pincushion," she thought when suddenly the ninjas that were above her were suddenly right next to her and they were just as surprised as she was. "What the?" Suddenly the gas around them began to move and form several bubbles around the heads of the ninjas. "Sorry, it looked like you were in a bit of a tight spot," said Tomo as she was moving the wind around them with a fan. "I could have handled them on my own," said Midnight. "Now is not the time to be competitive," said Tomo as several ninjas finally fell into unconsciousness. Tomo noticed that it took longer than expected for them to pass out. "Right now we need to take out these ninjas so we can find the one controlling the insects. I'm guessing you have an idea." Tomo nodded. "Simple. We repeat what we did here from a higher ground and hit the outer areas." She held out her hand. "Come, I'll teleport us upward." Midnight got what she was getting at. "Alright, let's gas them in." "Oh. Yoshiro saw that Tomo and Midnight were now strategically gassing areas around the main area where the fights were taking place. Good, now they won't be leaving anytime soon. They make a good team when they aren't bickering, he said as he punched another ninja, then judo flipping another one. Agreed, said Ectoplasm before making more clones. The ninja he was versing returned in kind by making a series of hand signs before vibrating into multiple versions of himself. Ectoplasm stopped. Did you really just make hand signs for your quirk? The ninja and his clones shrugged before they all jumped at Ectoplasm, though their charge was halted by several pillars of cement erupting from the ground. Personally, I think Tomo and Midnight just started off on the wrong foot. Yoshiro caught a ninja's blade with his hands and disarming him. Yeah, I feel somewhat responsible for that. As he then twisted the man's weight and threw him into his friend. Ectoplasm's clones merged into a giant clone before hitting the group of clone ninjas. No, not gonna lie, Midnight's behavior to you was a bit uncalled for. Even if you were a child, that wouldn't be okay. To be honest, I think she goes a little overboard sometimes, trying to be too provocative. While that may be true, I don't think my reaction to meeting Midnight helped, said Yoshiro as he dodged several ninja stars. The quality of ninjas have clearly dropped over the years. Well, to be honest, your reaction makes sense, said Cementos as he created a barrier for them. I don't think there were many people acting like Midnight 200 years ago. Oh, that's for sure, as Yoshiro wondered what the people back when he was human would react to a woman like Midnight. Though this distracting thought would cost him very little. Yoshiro, what out? Yelled Ectoplasm. Before Yoshiro felt something. He looked down to see the sharp head of a Naginata spear coming out of his chest while the staff part was sticking out from his back. Further back he saw that a female ninja had thrown it. Whoops, guess I'm more rusty than I thought. Yoshiro then grabbed the spear head and proceeded to pull it through his body. He then gave the Naginata a twirl in his hand, causing his blood to fly. Thanks for the weapon. I'm keeping this now. How the hell are you alive? Asked the female ninja as everyone who had witnessed the attack had stopped fighting. That went right through you and you're acting as if it was nothing. Yoshiro raised an eyebrow. Do you have any idea who I am? Some sort of child prodigy? Then why did you target Yoshiro and Tomo? Asked Cementos. A child and a woman make easy targets. None of the teachers believed that answer. Now give me back my spear. You put it through my chest, said Yoshiro simply. I'm keeping it. She tried to charge him. Yoshiro quickly slammed the staff end into her gut before quickly hitting her head with the flat part of the spear, knocking her out. Come now. You're going to need to do better than that. Suddenly there were more ninjas surrounding them. These guys don't know when to quit, said Ectoplasm as he summoned more clones. Cementos began warping the concrete around them, capturing a few. Something's not right here, thought Yoshiro as he began to block the ninjas with his new Naginata. There's no way that Uzui clan would become this weak. This is way too easy, it's as if we're fighting training dummies and not the real thing. Hold them off, I'm heading above. Yoshiro did wait for a response as he used his spear as a pole vault to boost him upward before wall jumping up the building. When he got there, he began to look at the other teachers. He then noticed a pattern. They move in groups of threes. 2 males, 1 female. Each group, one of them always has a unique weapon, one has a sound ability and another has an enhancement ability. An illusion? No, this is far too sophisticated to be a simple illusion. Unless it's a fake illusion. Oh. President Mike was almost out of breath as he and the Rock Ninja had been having their sound fight since the start of the battle and it wasn't looking too good. Eraser's head was having a bit of a better time as he was fighting two others. One was a girl with a katana and the other was a guy with super punches. Eraserhead was switching between dodging and countering when he could. His quirk helped, but he could tell something was off. He didn't know why, but something didn't feel the same when he cancelled these ninjas' quirks. He was able to put his capture tool around the enhancer when the woman with the katana came to take a strike at him. She was slow and he easily could counter, but to his surprise Yashiro countered with a spear. He then expertly disarmed the girl and sent her ball flying at the guitar the ninja was using. Without his guitar, present mix sound overwhelmed him, sending him back. Said present Mike through heavy breaths and a sore throat. No time, come on, said Yashiro as he grabbed Mike and Eraserhead. He led them back to Cementos and Ectoplasm. Eraserhead, use your quirk on the clone quirk. Eraserhead didn't argue and activated his quirk on the cloning ninja. Normally if he used his quirk on someone who could make clones, the clones would disappear, but instead the clones began to shake uncontrollably. Ha! Yashiro then gave a clone a good whack, shattering it into pieces of wood. They're puppets. These aren't real people. He looked at the downed female ninja that he took the spear from, before stabbing her in the arm with the spear. No blood came out, but they all heard the unmistakable sound of wood cracking. No wonder they're so weak. These aren't the real ninjas. What? How? The cloning ninja then began to laugh. We are warriors of the shadow. Did you really think we would fight you head on? He then raised his arms as hidden weapons popped out of his wooden limbs. These puppets were made with a combination of quirks, allowing us to control them remotely and to use other quirks through them. We don't have time to waste on you. What a minute. If that's true, then maybe what that girl said was true. Maybe you weren't the target, said Cementos. If he wasn't the target, then who was? Asked present Mike. Yashiro thought for a moment. He grabbed his phone. Tomo, where's All Might? He stopped not too far away from the fight right now. He's not moving, said Tomo. Before Yashiro could respond, several shurikens stabbed the ground in front of the heroes. They looked up to see a ninja standing on a roof with several ninja stars floating around him. Though it was clear he was real as he was bleeding from a few wounds. Looks like the elder had a good idea to leave the two of us behind. A guitar riff roared through the streets as one of Cementos's wall broke down. All right, I'm rest-ringed and ready for an encore. You idiot, stop playing around and get serious here, he said before his stars shattered as several bullets flew through the air, hitting several of the ninja puppets and hitting the stars, but missed when they tried to hit the two real ninjas. Can't you just die already? Sniped walked out into the open, showing that he had two shurikens in his left leg and one in his right shoulder. This cowboy ain't losing to no ninja, he said as he fired several rounds at the ninja. The ninja reacted in kind by sending several shuriken at Snipe. You guys go, said present Mike, catch up with All Might. I won the opening and I don't plan on losing the encore. Oh, I can dig that tune, said the rock ninja. No, you goddamn idiot. Stop them, said the other ninja, only to get a bullet in his lower leg. Damn it. You heard Mike, we got this, said Snipe. Go. Don't you dare die, said Eraserhead as he and the other teachers ran in the direction of All Might. Now with the crowd gone, may I have the name of my new rival, asked present Mike. Name's Jam, said the ninja. Jam, what the hell are you doing? Asked his friend. And my rude cousin over there is Riff. I swear when we get home I'm kicking your ass, said Riff. What part of don't give out any information do you not understand? Don't worry, the crowd is gone, said Jam. And this will be their final song. Oh. Well brat, when I'm right, said Gran Torino as the All Might, Demon Slayer and Ojiro were surrounded by the real ninjas. The elder stepped forward. Well, I have to admit I'm a bit surprised. How did you figure out we were after All Might? I've been in enough scraps to tell a fake fight from a real one, said Gran Torino. Well, we certainly underestimated you, said the elder. This is going poorly. We weren't able to get our original target and now they've picked up on our secondary target. The most we can do now is recover this loss by maybe taking down All Might. If we try to take Demon Slayer now, it will only make his master suspicious. Though even if we pulled out now, we can at least confirm some information for the next operation. The best scenario now is to get out of this without them knowing who their real target is. The elder quickly gave some hand signals to the others, letting them know not to kill and be prepared to run. Suddenly several earth creatures rushed into the area and began to attack the ninjas. You won't be getting away that easily, said Tomo pointing at the head ninja with Pixie Bob's glove. We haven't finished giving you a proper lesson, said Midnight as she gassed an area of ninja and attacked one ninja with her whip. Midnight, Tomo, where are the others? Asked All Might. On their way. You won't be leaving here alive, All Might, said a ninja as he pulled out a giant sword. The ninja then charged at All Might. Tonight you die, All Might. All Might then punched the sword. To All Might's surprise, the sword didn't break. It actually began to get heavier. This seemed somewhat familiar to All Might. Do I know you? We fought before, but today I'm taking your head, as the ninja was able to push All Might back. All Might, said Ojiro and Demon Slayer. Don't worry about him, said Gran Torino as he began dodging a ninja who was sending some sort of green energy slashes at him. Oh nurse girl, locate the bug user. Okay, as Tomo summoned Ragdoll's visor. Which Ragdoll gave her? Cover me for a second. Midnight nodded as she tossed Tomo her whip, before she ripped both her sleeves, causing them to be surrounded by a layer of gas. Though thankfully the gas wasn't thick enough to hinder the search quirk. None of these have a quirk that allows them to use bugs. Wait, I'm looking at this wrong. I need to find the Hornet Queen. As she did, she found the Hornet next to a female ninja that had the Hornet flying next to her along with a bat. Bingo! There, said Tomo as she pointed at the girl. She's the one with the Hornet. Shit, said Hibiki. They found me. How? I thought Tomo had a teleportation quirk. Hibiki turned to see Demon Slayer had already made it to the roof she was on and his sword was coated with electricity. Let my friends go, now. Present Mike was sent backwards again by one of Jam's sound waves. Sorry man, but it looks like you can't keep up with me. You went too hard at the beginning and now you've sung your last verse. Present Mike slowly got up. You're right. I wasn't really holding back at first. Thought I could end this quick and easy. Though I got one last verse in me. Well then make it a good one. Oh why, screamed Present Mike, putting his all into this last yell. Jam began sending his own sound back at him. The sound waves clashed again. Boring, you're just repeating what you did before. Can't you come up with any new material, said Jam. Present Mike then, without stopping his yell, ran at Jam. Jam wasn't expecting this, nor was he expecting Mike to try and jump kick him. Jam blocked with his guitar. That won't save you. DJ punch. As Present Mike punched Jam in the face surprisingly hard. My best friend is a hand-to-hand expert. I've picked up a few things, as Mike grabbed Jam's collar with one hand. DJ smackdown as Mike began to punch Jam several times in the face. With equal force. He didn't stop until he was sure that he was knocked out. You play a sick guitar, maybe we can do this again sometime. That idiot, said Riff Screw, kicking his ass. I'm gonna make his life hell. You should be worried about yourself, said Snipe, reloading his gun. Seeing as you're about to lose. Riff didn't say anything and just charged Snipe. Snipe fired 2 rounds but neither aimed at Riff. Riff saw the bullets hit 2 canisters that Snipe plants earlier on the ground, causing them to explode and spread a smokescreen across the area. Riff sent his shurikens at Snipe as he jumped out of the smokescreen. Snipe fell backwards to avoid the stars, but as he did fired 2 more shots at Riff while he was in the air. Riff sent his stars to intercept the bullets, but the bullets changed directions and hit each other, causing them to become shrapnel shards. The shards were too small for the shuriken and still had momentum. They flew past the stars and right into Riff's face. Riff screamed in pain as the shards pierced his face and got in his eyes. Without his sight, he tumbled to the ground. You son of a bitch. Even without his sight, he tried to take his knife and stab Snipe. Snipe shot his arm and grabbed it. Then using the butt of his gun to deliver the final blow to the side of Riff's skull. Snipe saw the ninja go limp. You were one tough bastard, said Snipe as he began to take the shuriken out of his shoulder. I can't remember the last time someone was able to hit me so much. Mike, you good over there? Yeah, just wrapping things up, said Mike through a hoarse voice. He was able to use some of the capture rope he kept on him to tie Jam up. Though I don't think I'll be able to record my new song this week. Snipe just sighed as he grabbed Riff to tie him up as well, when suddenly he heard rattling noise. Snipe got his gun ready. What was that? Suddenly the wooden ninjas began to move. The mannequins are moving. Hate to tell ya, but misdirection is kind of what ninjas are known for. Both heroes looked up to see a third ninja seating on the edge of a roof. Though you both did good taking these 2 out. I doubt either of you have the strength enough to fight. Surrender and my puppets will kill you quickly. Shit. This guy isn't wrong. I've lost a lot of blood and Mike ran out of gas trying to outshot the guitar guy. I still have my flare shot to call for backup. So we'll either need to run or hold them off until backup arrives. I ain't wasting any more time, said the ninja. Attack! All the puppets rattled as they jumped at the heroes, weapons drawn for the kill. Black hole. The puppets were pulled away in mid-air as they all were dragged away into an endless void. Ha! As the dust settled, revealing 13. Sorry I'm late, guys. Getting back up took longer than expected. Suddenly the ground below them broke, revealing Power Loader. We're here to fight, where are the baddies? Power Loader, sighed Mike. We got 2 of them knocked out. Over, where'd they go? Said Snipe as he saw that both Jam and Riff were gone. You broke my toys, said the third ninja, holding both Jam and Riff. One on his shoulder and the other under his arm. You'll pay for that, as he jumped away, disappearing into the night. Son of a Snipe was not happy about letting them go. Though he already knew that tracking and chasing them down would be hard, as the heroes there weren't that good at maneuverability. Come on, we should catch up with the others. Hey, I thought you guys went to get back up, asked Mike. We did, said 13. Oh. Ninjas, shouted Bubble Girl as she saw the group of ninjas. 13 and Power Loaded were asked to go and get Night Eye and his sidekicks. As 13's quirk was too destructive and Power Loader's quirk wouldn't work well in a building environment. So now the heroes of the Night Eye Agency were now entering a fight between UA and ninjas. How did they get here, thought the Elder. What happened to our lookouts? We snuck past them, said Night Eye. With my quirk I was able to see a route that led us here without meeting any resistance. Now please surrender quietly. No, said Elder. This isn't looking good. All Might is fighting 5 of us and the old one with the tail boy is taking on 3. Wait, where is Demon Slayer? On one of the rooftops. Hibiki and Demon Slayer were fighting it out. This girl is using the breath of sound. Hibiki was barely countering Demon Slayer's attacks. It was clear she was on the defensive. What the hell is with this guy's fighting style? He is using our breathing techniques, but none of these feel like sound styles I was trained with. I ain't about to lose to a knockoff like you. Sound kill, constant resounding slashes. Hibiki began to take her 2 short katanas and began to twirl them, causing sound waves to push Demon Slayer back. Demon Slayer rolled back with the sound waves. You're the one that is the knockoff. Breath of thunder, thunderclap and flash. He disappeared in a flash of lightning only to reappear in front of her, breaking both of her swords in a single slash. He broke my blades, she said. She then saw him move past her for the Hornet Queen behind her. Tower of Grey. Demon Slayer noticed something coming at him at high speed. He blocked something with as much force as a cannonball hit him. He looked to see a giant stag beetle with a massive jaw, pushing against his blade. Another insect with a quirk. The beetle disengaged and began to try and attack Izuku. Izuku blocked each attack. He saw Hibiki beginning to run. No, dance of the beetle, horn thrust. Several beetles appeared around Izuku as he thrusted his blade, with one riding the tip of his sword. As he thrusted, the beetle launched off, thrusting through the other beetle. Gray yelled Hibiki. Nobody hurts my pets, as she pulled out several throwing knives in her hand. When she went to throw them, several pink feathers pushed against her arms. What the hawks? Nope, wrong answer, said Tomo with pink wings, teleporting in, grabbing the hornet and holding it tight so it wouldn't sting her. That's mine, said Hibiki as she dropped a knife and using her toes, kicking the knife at Tomo. Tomo was going to counter, but a spear intercepted the knife. Tomo, teleport us to a clear spot, said Yushiro, landing and grabbing the spear. Tomo didn't say another word and transported them away. No, Hibiki could feel the feathers losing their grip on her arms. Though Demon Slayer pointed his sword at her, sending a message as to not try anything. You idiot, without me sending the proper signal, that hornet will begin acting on its own and kill all of the students. Is that what you want? All of the students die. Izuku remained calm, in fact he was even calmer than he was before. You really have no idea who my sensei is, do you? Oh. Tomo teleported her and Yushiro to a secluded alley. Yushiro wasted no time and jammed his fingers into the hornet's head. The hornets began to freak out for a moment until it stopped as Yushiro took control as he spread his demon cells through the insect. I'm sorry. It's not your fault you were born like this, and it most definitely not your fault you were dragged into this, he said in a voice filled with pity. He was able to take complete control of the hornet and by extension all of the other hornets. If things were different, you would be minding your own business, not having to deal with quirks and maybe not even having to deal with humans. He gave the order to have all the hornets to exit their human captives. Hopefully in your next life you can be a honeybee or something even more beautiful. When he got the signal that all hornets were out of the students, he gave the final order, stopping all their hearts. I'm sorry, but I must ensure the safety of my students. When he was sure all insects related to this hive were dead, he let go of the now dead Queen Hornet. Tomo knew that she had to say something. Master Yushiro. I know there were insects, but still they didn't have to get involved in this, he said as he stood up looking at his hand. I never wanted to hijack anything ever again. Please send the carcass back to the lab. Hopefully in death we may learn something. Yes, sir, as she took out a mirror and put the carcass inside. sending them both away. Now let's return. The fight is not over yet. Oh. Do you have any juice left? Asked Yui as they started doing some homework. Yeah, it's in the fridge, said Melissa. I can get it. No, I can get it. Yui nodded as she went to the fridge. Ye was just exiting the kitchen. Just as she passed Ye dropped her glass of water. Yui looked to see the girl looking at her wide-eyed. Ye then stretched her hand out at Yui, nearly hitting her cheek. Yui stumbled back. Ye, what is the meaning of? Yui and the other girls stopped when they saw what Ye was holding. A big hornet that was now trapped in Ye's metal. Ye stared at the bug. Hey Dad, what was the most dangerous creature you've fought? Asked Ye. The most dangerous creature, huh? Repeated her father Matazo Ryoshi. That's a tough one, but the one that comes to mind is this one, he said as he showed her a picture on his phone. This hornet is one of an entire hive that had a very deadly quirk, one that killed a lot of people. Yelled Ochako, bringing Ye back to the present. Ochako was pointing at another hornet on the floor. That bug was on my shoulder. Oh God, don't tell me this building is infested, said Melissa. Yui looked at the hornet on the ground and then back to Ye, who was still stunned. It took Yui a moment, but then she realized that Ye was stunned in fear. Ye, you okay? I need to make a phone call. Unbeknownst to Ye, several students or their families would be finding a dead hornet around their house. Oh. Sonic wave, said a ninja as he put his hands on the ground, vibrating the ground, turning it into sand. All Might soon found himself fighting several ninjas on sand that he was slowly sinking into. Now attack, yelled the elder. Tonight we claim All Might's head. Several ninjas then jumped in at All Might, though two of them were knocked away by Ojiro. Stay out of this, boy. No, said Ojiro, taking a fighting stance. Boy, get out of there, said Center Piter, as he fought another ninja with a chain weapon. Sir Night-Eye. Night-Eye did nothing as he saw the future. Interesting. The elder began to power his sword with his quirk. Sonic Slash. As several invisible slashes of vibrating air were sent at Ojiro. To everyone's surprise, Ojiro was able to dodge them, as the slashes hit the building behind him. Ojiro then leaned towards the ground, getting low to the ground, before using a hand motion to signal the elder to come at him. Very well, you've chosen death, he said as he sent another slash at Ojiro. Ojiro then began to do something else no one expected. He started to break dance on the ground, kicking up the newly created sand into the air. Once the sand was in the air, the sonic slashes became visible and immensely easier to dodge. Even though Ojiro was wearing a mask, everyone could tell he was smirking. This only served to anger the elder. That trick won't save you, boy. His sword split into two. Sound, kill, roar. An impossible amount of sonic slashes were aimed at Ojiro. Ojiro did the only thing he could think of and kicked up more and more sand until he was safely hidden by his own miniature sandstorm. The elder continued his assault and with each slash moved closer to the sandstorm. He stopped when he was a few feet away and was confident that the boy was dead. Now where was I? Yes, killing All Might. Though out of the sand jumped out Ojiro. Didn't see that one, did you? As Ojiro quickly turned in the air. Please work. Prayed Ojiro as his tail twisted and whipped out, sending a small ball of sand at the elder's face. The elder became blinded by the sand. Ojiro couldn't believe it, he actually was able to pull it off. He then felt something on his shoulder. A hornet, so this is what was in my neck. You can have it back. Ojiro tossed the hornet at the elder. The elder caught it, even though he still couldn't see. He then crushed the hornet in his hand. Very impressive, Sandtail. Very impressive indeed. I guess I have grown soft in my old age. Everyone, yelled Yushiro as he and Tomo returned. The hornets have been dealt with. I repeat, the hornets have been dealt with, the students are safe. The teachers began to smile at the news. That perfect, yelled as All Might, then stopped holding back as much as he was and punched the ninjas around him with enough force to send them flying. Now then, let's finish this. The elder sighed. This day has been nothing but a day of fuck-ups. Even without his eyes he could tell things weren't good. We rushed in, underestimated, and were outplanned. Today was a failure, the next time will be different. He brought his sword into the air. We're done here. Ninja vanish as he threw several smoke bombs into the air and began to send them at every ninja in the area with his sword. Oh no you don't, said All Might, charging at the elder. You don't threaten our students and get away with it. The elder dodged All Might's punch by jumping in the air. Don't worry, All Might, we will claim your head eventually, he said as he brought his sword down. All Might's instincts told him to dodge. When the sword made contact with the ground, it split the street in two. He had that much power. Ojiro was in shock as he realized that the guy could have killed him at any time. Yep, said Aizawa, checking in on his student while also scanning the streets trying to find any of the ninjas, but he couldn't, they were all gone. Can anyone see them? Then why didn't he just kill me? Asked Ojiro. No, I don't see any of them, said Midnight. Tomo, can you pick up on any of them? Tomo put on Ragdoll's visor and began to channel her quirk. No, they're gone. They're not picking up at all. Are you sure, Tomo? Asked Izuku. That's Ragdoll's quirk, right? It should be able to find anyone as long as they've seen them once. I know, she said, taking off the visor. When I asked to borrow her visor, she told me in detail how it works, and yet I'm not picking up any of them, only the people here. I can't pick up anything either, said Night Eye. I know I made contact with at least 3 of them, and yet I can't see any visions from them. I can think of at least 7 quirks that may be possible of doing such a thing, said Yushiro, as he held his new spear. Not to mention, they were clearly holding back. They were more concerned with fulfilling their objective than actually killing us. Are you really keeping that? Asked Ectoplasm, pointing at the spear. Now that you mention it. What exactly was their objective here? Asked Aizawa. Good question, Aizawa. Everyone turned to see Nizu riding Mr. Red as he walked into the area. What were they here for? Who's this? Asked Midnight, eyeing Mr. Red. He's one of the agents I was meeting with today, clarified Yushiro. Yes, you can rest assured, me and the other agents safely got the civilians out and contacted Nizu like you asked, said Mr. Red. Excellent, said Yushiro, but noticed confused looks. I asked him and his co-workers to evacuate people in the area. I didn't know how big this fight was going to become, and I didn't want any bystanders getting hurt. Gran Torino popped his back. Good call. HOI, yelled Mike as best as he could. As he, Power Loader, Snipe, who was leaning on 13, walked in. What we miss? You kids missed quite a bit, said Torino as they were filling each other in on what happened. I got a question, asked Ojiro. What happens now? Right now we'll conduct an investigation. See if we can track them down at all, said Aizawa. As for you and Izuku, the only thing you two need to worry about is having a boring day tomorrow. Oh come now, Senpai, said 13. The USJ can be fun. This week has been too hectic. I just want a quiet day tomorrow. he said, but refocused on his students. I think it's time to send you two home. The other teacher nodded in agreement. But I have to say you did quite well tonight, young Ojiro, said All Might, especially with dealing with the last one. Yeah, where did you come up with that? Asked Izuku, who was very impressed with how Ojiro handled himself today. Ojiro blushed a little. Oh, I came up with it after watching you today and using the advice that Yushiro gave me. He turned to Yushiro. Me kicking around sand with my tail really helped out today. I would have never thought of that, without you pointing that out. Yushiro chuckled a little. You would be surprised where you can find inspiration. To be honest, I just said that because I wanted you to think outside of the box. I didn't expect you to actually use sand. Which surprised Ojiro. So tell me, what are you going to call your new technique? Ojiro scratched his cheek for a moment as he thought. Well, if you and Izuku don't mind, since I only came up with it using your help, I was thinking of calling it the Breath of Sand. The Uzui clan was currently seated in the hidden Uzui clan mansion, leaking their wounds of defeat. Their guy's quirk that they used had worn off. Now everyone looked like their everyday selves. The one taking the loss the most was Hibiki. She was currently sitting in a corner away from the rest of her family. Her grandfather and the elder of the clan came walking into the room after washing his eyes out of the sand. Grandfather, I just want to say I'm sorry. If I knew that dash. Hibiki, he said firmly, shutting the girl up. She stood there nervously in front of the family. Why are you apologizing? Ha? Chill out, Kaus, said Jam with an ice pack on his head. We all kind of screwed up today, earning a glare from Riff. He's right, said her Aunt Hum. We all underestimated them. We thought they would be like the other heroes or teachers we fought before. They were clearly better. You performed your task as best you could. So did we all. It still doesn't change the fact that we all screwed up achieving a single major objective. I wouldn't say that, said the elder. We confirmed information and we got to see UA staff in action. Information is one of the greatest weapons in the world. We'll use this to win next time. For now, we train. We must know what that man Yushiro knows. We'll get another chance to learn what he knows. Hibiki was happy she wasn't in trouble, but there was something bothering her. Grandfather. There was something strange that Demon Slayer said. He said that our sound killing techniques were false. Also, on another note, what do I do now about school? School is simple. We'll have Woodwind send a puppet of you to school with you controlling it. If they don't suspect you, we'll have you return to get more information. Sorry, I know I said this would be a short operation, but the plan is changed. As for what Demon Slayer said, the elder's killing intent filled the room. We will show him the power of our family's techniques. Is everything set? Oh yeah. They won't know what hit them. Then sleep well. Tomorrow we crash UA Grin Shigaraki. Chapter 27 USJ Start. Izuku and Ye were currently waiting for Yushiro in Izuku's apartment. After the Hornet/Ninja incident, they had a few questions for their sensei. They didn't have to wait long as Tomo opened a portal right into the living room. Yushiro stepped out and looked at the two. You two wanted to see me. Yes, please have a seat, sensei, said Izuku, pointing to the couch. Yushiro sat down across from the two. I have a feeling I know what this is about. Why didn't you tell us anything? Yelled Ye, a little pissed that she wasn't told that her friends were unknowingly held hostage. We could have done something. We could have helped. We're both strong, so why didn't you tell us anything? Yushiro closed his eyes as he began thinking. Both Izuku and Ye were at the edge of their seats waiting to hear his reasoning. I don't know. Both Izuku and Ye faltered. What is that supposed to mean? It means I don't know, said Yushiro, being completely honest. You both make excellent points, you both are quite skilled and could have helped, so to be honest I don't know why I didn't ask for your help. They both looked at him skeptically. You're kidding, said Ye, not believing this. So what was your plan? Turn myself over to the ninjas, of course. They both dropped their jaws. When I saw the hornets I thought for sure they were after me, so when I told the teachers and they confirmed it. My plan was to simply give myself to them so no one would get hurt. I don't like dragging others into my problem. That's when Aizawa hit me and they said no. That's when we came up with a new plan. So why didn't you tell me afterwards or give me some sort of hint, asked Izuku. Well, at the time I thought it would be a good idea to have someone with Ojiro, and the quirk license were an excellent excuse. Though I have to ask Izuku, how did you figure out Ojiro had a hornet in his neck? Yushiro asked, a little curious. Sensei, the first ability you trained with me was how to focus and enhance my senses. When we were first fighting those bank robbers I picked up the hornet inside him, said Izuku. Ye remembered the footage from the bank robbery. That must have been how that one guy got a lucky hit on ya. Izuku nodded. Well, that makes sense, before returning her attention to Yushiro. Though I wish you would have told us something, old man. I called my father about the hornets. He told me he talked to you and said the situation was handled. Oh, and he wants me to let you know him and my mom are coming to the sports festival. Yushiro then made a mental note to prepare for his arrival. I see. Well then, I do apologize for not talking to either of you about the hornets. I was more or less going with the situation. Just like I tell all of those politicians and doctors. My age has given me wisdom, but I don't always make the best decisions all the time, he said as he got up. Well, if that's all, we should be heading to school now. I have a question, too, in fact, said Ye, stopping Yushiro. Those ninjas you fought, they must have known about the students and about you at UA. Is there a spy we need to deal with? Yushiro stared at Ye for a moment. Despite her personality, she was really sharp, something that Yushiro forgets sometimes. Most likely. Do you have any idea who it is? Yushiro was silent for a moment. Old man. Me and the teachers at UA are handling the situation. Izuku was shocked by this response. Sensei? So you're not going to lie, but you ain't going to tell what really is going on. Is that it? Said Ye. Ye, said Yushiro, surprised by this. Does Ojiro know about any of this? What, of course not. Why would he? You're teaching him the breathing styles, aren't you? Yushiro now could hear the hurt in her voice. Ye. Ye was silent as she breathed. I may not be smart like Izuku or Melissa, but I've known you for 10 years now. I've read the books in your library, you've sparred with me while I was trying to get a hang on my quirk. I know that the breathing styles are some secret, and I can tell you I know that Izuku's quirk is really bullshit, same goes for Melissa too. The way you talk about the past and how you and Dad have those private conversations, I know you're old as hell, more than what you tell everyone. This has something to do with that past, doesn't it? Ye paused, waiting for some reaction from Yushiro, but he only had a look of concern. You know what, fuck it, keep your secrets. I need to get ready for school. Ye began making her way towards the door. Ye, wait, as Izuku grabbed her arm to stop her. Ye, I'm sorry, Ayao. Izuku felt his hand burning on some of Ye's strange metal. Ye took a deep breath. Sorry, Izuku, old man. Your secrets are your own. I can't make either of you say squat. As much as I want to. No, you deserve it, said Yushiro. To be honest, part of me forgot that we haven't really told you. I feel that you're old enough to know. If your father gives me permission, I will tell you what you would like to know. Though you have to promise me you won't tell anyone else, understood? Of course, said Ye a little too loud. She turned slightly red. I mean, I just got tired of being left out, she admitted. Yushiro reached up and began to pat her head like he used to when she was a child, and still a bit is. I understand. I trust you, Ye, I just forgot how grown up you've become. If your father gives me the go-ahead, I promise to tell you everything. Okay, said Ye, realizing that she was acting a bit like a child. Yushiro smiled and texted Tomo to open the portal to head back. Ye then turned back to Izuku. Hey, sorry about the hand. Izuku grabbed her shoulders. Ye, I just wanted you to know I trust you. I do, whether it's with the secrets or on the battlefield. You're my friend and I'm sorry if I ever hurt you. Ye was slowly feeling something in her chest that wasn't there before and her face was heating up slightly. Izuku, that's fine, I mean I was the one who felt left out, as she tried to look away. I know, but I didn't realizing you were hurting and dash. Would you look at the time, she said, walking away from Izuku. I need to go and get ready for school, as she bolted out of the apartment. Inko and Eri both saw her dash out. What's wrong with Ye? Asked Eri. Izuku scratched the back of his head. I think I might have hurt her feelings. Inko just started smiling. Mom, why are you smiling like that? Ye rushed back to her apartment and closed the door quickly, startling her roommates. Ye, is everything okay? Asked Ochako. Yeah, she said as she made her way to her room. Just a weird feeling in my chest. Both Ochako and Melissa looked at each other, knowing exactly what she was feeling. Oh. Hibiki was currently getting used to the wooden body she was controlling. This is still weird, as she remembered getting it earlier this morning. Hey Woodwind, has anyone told you how odd your quirk is? Asked Hibiki. All the time, but it does have its advantages, he said as he tied small panels of wood on her body. They're trying to move. Hibiki did, and the wooden doll moved as well. Perfect, now move the puppet without moving your body, she did. See, like riding a bicycle. Yes, but I haven't done this in 5 years, pointed out Hibiki. Don't worry, you'll get it. When I connect your other senses, it will be a lot easier to move around with it, he said. I know that when I'm directly connected to it, I'll be able to use my quirk, said Hibiki. But will there be any other changes? Woodwind thought for a moment. Well, the puppets are made out of a super strong wood, but still wood, so it can't bleed, and I don't think it will take as much damage. Though you should be able to move quicker since it's so light. Hibiki and the puppet both grabbed one side of Woodwind's head. What is that supposed to mean? Really, Hibiki, come on, he said, slightly annoyed but calm. You know what I meant. Let go, we need to get you ready. Now. In the end, Hibiki let her cousin have his head back. They then went back to setting her up to control the puppet. At the end she had full control, but it was still weird because she could still tell it wasn't her body. This feeling didn't hinder her movement or control, but it did mean she would have to keep in mind that she needed to be careful. If she breaks, it could cause some problems. Not to mention, it would mean she would have to deal with Woodwind getting angry at her. Oh hey Hibiki, said Melissa as she Ochako, Ye, and Izuku. How's it going? Oh hey Melissa, it's going great, she said, but inwardly she was cursing her luck. Out of all the people I wanted to see today, you idiots were the last. I need a distraction. As if something above heard her, one appeared, as she saw Jack and Kendo walking down the streets. Hey Kendo, Jack. Oh hi Hibiki, as Kendo waved back. Hey guys, said Jack, as he saw the other. How's it going, as they made small talk for a bit until Jack asked Izuku a question. So they finally let you out for some action, huh? Yeah, just for a bit. I don't know how regular it will be, said Izuku. Kendo had a question on that topic. Yeah, but how the hell did that other kid get involved? Before Izuku could answer, they all stopped as they began to hear something. Screaming, but not the someone's in danger screaming, the I'm running for my life screaming. The group turned to see Ojiro running from the corner, screaming as he ran. Ojiro, what the heck are you ? Izuku stopped as he watched a giant group of reporters chasing him at surprising speeds. Ryuyu-1! He screamed as he passed them. None of them needed to be told twice as they all began running at top speeds to the school gates, only to their horror to find a small group of reporters waiting for them at the gate. Izuku thought quickly, Ochako, cancel our gravity, will go over the wall. Okay, everyone connect. She held out her hands while everyone grabbed either a hand or shoulder. With no gravity, it was easy for all of them to jump and sail over the wall. Release, as they all landed inside the campus. Thanks Ochako, said Ojiro. Dude, what the hell was that? Asked Ye. They were waiting outside my home. I had to parkour my way to school with them chasing me. Yeah, said Izuku. They can be vultures sometimes, as he remembered him being chased by them himself. Come on, let's get to class, it's supposed to be an easy day today. Tell me, what the hell were you doing out there with Deku? Screamed Bakugo as he and other classmates had Ojiro backed into a corner. Why do lie to me, Izuku? Yelled Ojiro. Guys, back off, said Izuku, trying to defend Ojiro. Look, we just want to know how come he was out there with you and All Might, said Kaminari. Yeah, aren't you guys breaking a law or something? Asked Sato. Clearly, that's not the case, said Momo. 'Cause All Might was there and the police didn't do anything. Which means somehow they got permission. I can see Izuku getting that easily 'cause he is Demon Slayer, but how did you get it, Ojiro? That's what I want to know. All of you in your seats, now, said Aizawa as he entered the classroom. What the hell is all of this? They heard Yushiro's voice in the hallway. Get back to class now. We just have a question, asked Tessatisu. How come that one kid with the tail got to go out with All Might and Demon Slayer? He asked. Now get back to class. He asked, shouted Bakugo. Aizawa slammed the door shut. Today is already becoming a headache. Wait, you just asked, said Mina, turning to Ojiro. Well, kind of, said Ojiro. I just wanted to ask Mr. Yushiro if he can give me any more advice or training. Was that it? Asked Kirishima. I want to go. So do I. When can I go? Can I go out with Midnight? Shut up, as Aizawa fired off his quirk to silence them. Look, for a while now the principal has been wanting to try this out. With All Might and Izuku here, he finally had the go-ahead, and he and Yushiro thought it would be a good idea to include another student. Ojiro just asked at the perfect time. Everyone just dropped their jaw at how lucky Ojiro was. And before any of you ask, we will be making a schedule for this, but we are not making one today. You'll just have to wait until we get it fully set up. What they did was a test run, now we have to see how other factors react. Bakugo just growled at that. Well, when is that going to happen? Don't know, said Aizawa honestly. Now moving on, to confirm your class representatives are Momo as class president and Ida as vice president, correct? Yes sir, said Momo. Alright then, get everyone ready in their hero gear and outside. Today we will be going over the basics of rescue operations at the USJ. Alright, everyone line up in seating order and prepare to get on the bus, said Tenya, trying and failing to organize the other students. Ida, this bus isn't like that, said Momo as they entered the bus that had an open seating arrangement. Curses thwarted by the bus system, earning Ida several confusing looks. Soon all of them were on their way to the USJ. Hey Izuku, I hope you don't mind, but I have a question, asked Tsuyu. Sure. So what's it like being a hero with All Might? Oh, it's like a dream come true. All Might has been my hero for a long time. So finally being able to fight alongside him was great. I hope we can do it again, said Izuku. I'm more curious about your teacher, said Momo. Mr. Yushiro. For starters, why did he allow you to commit acts of vigilantism? He must have known about the laws, especially if he was alive when they were made. Well. He's old, interjected Ye. He's old and so is his ways. How would you know? Asked Momo. I've known the old man the longest, my dad used to work for him, so calm your tits. Momo tried to remain calm and most thought she was, but she couldn't help the tick mark on her head. One of these days, I swear. Kaminari had a question. So he discovered your quirk, right? How come you never knew you had a quirk? Your quirk seems to be able to do a lot. Ojiro remembered Izuku's explanation of his quirk. Yeah, he can do. Wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. Ojiro began to think over Izuku's explanation and the powers he displayed. How the hell then was he able to manipulate flowers or make bugs appear? Not to mention discovering the hornet. What's going on here? He thought as he realized there was something more here. Yeah, my quirk can do a lot, but it comes with a huge problem, said Izuku. Like what? Asked Jiro. I can't feel it. The people in the class that didn't know were stunned. What exactly is that supposed to mean? Well, I can't feel my lungs and they control my quirk. He's telling the truth, said Melissa. I'm in the same boat. I can't feel my heart and that's the part of my body that controls my quirk. So I thought I was quirkless as well. Wait, what? Said the class in unison. Oh, for the love of, stop yelling. Yelled Ye. They have a disability. Think about it for a minute. The population to have quirks has remained 80% for years without change. Which doesn't make sense unless they have quirks but can't feel them, said Bakugo, connecting the dots. You two are crippled. Hey, we've learned how to use our quirks just as well as everyone else, said Melissa. We just started late is all. Kirishima finally understands his earlier conversations with Izuku. You guys only figured out recently how to control your quirks. That's so manly. Thanks. How'd you guys get so strong so quickly? Asked Siro. We had a good teacher. Yoshiro-sensei can be a bit rough around the edges, but he means well, said Izuku. Yeah, a good teacher, said Ojiro under his breath. Ojiro was now officially suspicious of the new teacher and his personal students. Alright, quiet down, we've arrived at the USJ, said Aizawa. Soon quickly all of the students were standing in front of the USJ. Now let me introduce another teacher that will help us with today's lesson. The doors to the USJ opened to reveal 13. The Rescue Hero 13. How's it going, kids? Said 13. Oh my gosh, it's 13, said Ochako, somewhat fangirling. I know, right, said Izuku, going back to his old habits. 13's quirk is really something. In fact, I got a question on your quirk. In a moment, said 13, turning back to Aizawa. You all set? I am, but where is the other one? Asked Aizawa. Our other teacher got caught up with other things, said 13. It's not the scary lady, is it? Asked Mineta. Everyone turned to see him shaking. Scary lady, repeated 13. You mean Midnight? No, the scary one, as he began shaking more. Aizawa then remembered what happened yesterday. You mean Tomo. The scary lady, said Mineta as he began to cry. Tomo? How is she scary? Asked 13. It's mainly him, said Aizawa, remembering what happened. No, get away from me, I didn't ask for this, screamed Mineta. Tomo, what did you do to him? Asked Yushiro. No, not in the butt. All I did was have him relive a terrible nightmare, said Tomo, just as surprised as the others. I didn't ask to marry any of you. And what exactly is he having a nightmare of? Asked Aizawa. I didn't ask for a gay harem. I want tits, not dicks. Never mind. What is wrong with this kid? Asked Present Mike. Stop flirting with me. I'm not gay. Come on, let's get this lesson started with. As Aizawa ushered his students into the USJ. Oh. All Might was currently rolling his shoulders in his skinny form as he entered the teacher's lounge. Been a while since I stopped so much crime before school. Indeed, said Yushiro as he accepted a cup of tea from Tomo. You've been busy this morning, as he held up his tablet showing All Might stopping crime this morning. Yeah, I would probably be out of gas by now if it wasn't for you, said All Might, accepting some tea from Tomo. Thanks, so what is it that you wanted to talk to me about? One moment dash. I am here, said Nizu, entering the lounge. Never mind, welcome Nizu. Hello Yushiro, All Might and Tomo, said Nizu as he hopped up on the couch and took a seat. So what is this meeting about? Well, I'll cut to the chase. I need your help because I plan to go on TV for an interview, said Yushiro. Both Nizu and Toshinori were silent for a moment. Could you please explain, with more detail? Well, clearly there have been some issues that have arisen due to my recent actions, like a bunch of heroes having a meeting off the books, or the police actions as well. The ninjas were the final straw. If I wish to continue to help the students and be a proper teacher, then I need to be transparent with the public. By that I of course mean just tell them the basics and leave anything past 200 years ago in the dark. Are you sure you want to do this? Asked Toshinori. If you do, you might not be able to disappear so easily again. Yushiro scoffed. Trust me, if I wanted to I could disappear easily. Why though? Asked Nizu. Why do you want to go public? One, it would make things easier so we don't have more heroes knocking on my doorstep, and two, if I'm no longer in the shadows I can do a lot more without arousing suspicion. Also, if anyone wants to mess with me they will have to do it knowing I have the world looking at me. Not to mention I can help others out publicly, go to hospitals and be a doctor out in the open. Not to mention Izuku and Melissa want to give me credit for helping them with their quirks. But won't that make things hard for you? Asked Toshinori. How? Yushiro raised his brow. Let's be honest here, All Might. If you went public with everything, there would be panic because your hero days are numbered, and if we went further everyone would want your quirk. If I go public, I'll have a bunch of scientists and doctors who would have questions for me. Which I already do, not to mention I have almost every single government on my side, and they don't care as long as I continue my work. In fact, let's be honest here, I'm not hiding anymore. The students already know who I am, and sooner or later some news station is going to ask about the new teachers. Both Nizu and Toshinori were silent for a moment. You know, those are some solid points, said Nizu, now content with helping. Alright, what do you need? As they began to discuss where to begin. Oh. Alright class, be silent and listen up, said Aizawa. Sensei, said Izuku, grabbing the handle of his sword. They turned to see a black portal opening at the center near the fountain as several villains came pouring through. What's going on?" asked Denki. "Does this have something to do with class?" "Class rep, gather the students," yelled Aizawa as he got ready. "This is not a drill. Those are real villains." Momo jumped to action. "Kaminari, see if you can call for help." Kaminari tried but couldn't connect. No luck, we're cut off somehow. "All of you stay here," as Eraserhead pulled down his goggles. 13, get the students out of here, I'll hold them off. "Everyone, follow me." "We're leaving," said 13. Izuku saw Eraserhead charge down into the group of villains. "Sorry 13-sensei, but I can't leave Aizawa-sensei to go and fight on his own." Without waiting for a reply, Izuku dashed down towards the villains. Izuku began fighting alongside Aizawa. Eraserhead dodged a tackle, "I told you to leave," as he used his capture weapon and caught two villains before tossing them. Breath of water, water wheel, as Izuku spun, sending villains back with a watered power slash. "Sorry, but I ain't leaving you here." "There he is," said Shigaraki, seeing Demon Slayer fighting alongside Eraserhead. "Kurogiri, execute the plan. Rue, get into position." "Roger." Kurogiri disappeared and then reappeared in front of the fleeing students. "Hello there, children, we are the League of Villains and we dash bang 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 whoa." "Hey! Shut it, Smokey, and hold still," said Ye, holding her smoking rifle. "You're going to be trouble." "Bang bang, okay, fuck, fine." Kurogiri expanded, transporting several students away. "Everyone else," said Izuku, seeing the expanding mass of smoke up where everyone else was. "Pay attention, brat," said Toya Setsuno, one of the 8 bullets. "Quirk larceny, he's able to take any object from someone's possession." He activated his quirk, talking the Demon Slayer sword. "Ha, I got your sword, Demon Slayer." Izuku felt the exact moment when his sword was taken from him. It truly felt like he was naked. That sword had been with him for over a year now and was a gift from his sensei, so he could learn a lost art. For once Izuku felt true rage. "Give that back," he roared as he charged the man who stole it with lightning speed. For a moment Toya thought he bit off more than he could chew as he saw Demon Slayer charging him. In an instant he was in front of him, and so was Kurogiri. "We have other plans for you," as Izuku was transported somewhere else. "Could you have cut that any closer?" yelled Toya, picking himself up. "Sorry, I need to transport everyone else." Izuku felt himself hit the water, though before he could try and swim up for air, chains wrapped around his legs. Soon he found several criminals with aquatic quirks grabbing him and dragging him under. One shark-looking villain got right in his face as he smiled. "Welcome, Demon Slayer, to your grave." Chapter 28, USJ Fight. Izuku was realizing that he might be screwed. "I've trained underwater before, but I was always able to get a full breath of air. I barely have half of that." "Hurry up and put those chains on him," said one of the water villains as others began to wrap Izuku's arms and legs. "Why don't we just finish him?" asked one of them before Izuku pulled on the chain, giving him enough room to punch the one that asked the question. "Ow, son of." "Okay, dumb question." The fish-looking villain stared at Izuku. Shigaraki was right, he's dangerous, we'll stick with the plan and drown him. He can't hold his breath forever. Even though it was underwater, he could still make out what they were saying. "If I remember right, my record for holding my breath is around 25 minutes. With the amount of air I have left, I have about 10 minutes left, maybe 12 if I stay calm. Though I don't know how I'm going to make it out of this. I'm surrounded by at least 20 aquatic villains and they've just chained me to the floor of the artificial lake. None of them are coming close enough to me to use them to escape. I might be in trouble here. Oh. While Izuku was drowning, most of Class 1A was scattered around the USJ, in different areas, with Aizawa still in the thick of the fight. What just happened? That black smoke did something to Izuku, and right before that a huge bubble was right next to the other student up above. What happened, and are the students alright? Eraserhead dodged another blow, before erasing the guy's quirk and punching him in the face. Several gun quirk users then began to fire at him before he used a rock villain as a shield, then performing a shield bash with his rock villain shield. All I can do right now is pray that the others are safe and try to get out of this alive. Suddenly, as he dodged another projectile, another heavy hitter came at him. These guys are alternating attacks. They actually have somewhat of a strategy. As he tossed him away and dodged another projectile, Eraserhead then turned to the rest of the villains before charging. I need a damn vacation. Oh. Kurogiri reappeared with Toya next to Shigaraki, Nomu, and Overhaul. Shigaraki, I've successfully separated the students and the hero, 13, to the different zones. Excellent. And Demon Slayer? He should be at the bottom of the lake zone right now. Got his sword right here, said Toya, showing Demon Slayer's sword. Overhaul reached and took the sword. Good work, Toya, as he examined the blade. This is a beautiful blade. For a moment they thought Overhaul was going to use his quirk to break the blade into a million pieces. Instead, he used it to point at Shigaraki. You sure this plan will work? Shigaraki was getting more pissed than usual at Overhaul, but having to deal with the man for the past several months has made him think through a few things. In fact, All for One thought that bringing them together was a blessing in disguise, as it made Shigaraki grow quicker than expected. No, said Shigaraki honestly. This plan here is for All Might. Demon Slayer's plan was secondary, but as Shigaraki put a finger on the blade, pushing it away. That gives you a chance to deal with him yourself while I deal with All Might. Overhaul thought it over for a moment, and even though he didn't like that Shigaraki half-assed the plan to kill Demon Slayer, killing the boy that took his area away from him sounded a lot better. Overhaul then stabbed the blade into the ground. Fine. If your plan fails, I'll kill the brat myself. Where's my opponent? Shouted Rappa. I want to fight too. Be silent, you simpleton, said his partner Tengai, who put a barrier up to block one of Rappa's punches. I was promised a fight, so where is it? Screamed Rappa. Kurogiri decided to step in. The itinerary we stole said there was supposed to be 3 teachers here today, and it looks like the third one didn't make it. It looks like Eraserhead is being taken care of by the foot soldiers, said Toya. Overhaul looked to see and noticed that they were lasting longer than expected. Interesting. I thought they were some mindless muscle, but they are lasting longer than I thought. I gave them a few strategies, said Shigaraki, getting the attention of the others. I knew they would do better if I put them into groups and a handful of strategies. Though it looks like none of them are really putting him down. One of us might have to do something. This earns some respect points from his accomplices. Rappa growled, he's already weakened. What of the other one? They're being handled already. I want to fight. Oh. Alright kids, everyone alright? Asked 13. The hero, Tsuyu, Aoyama, Mineta, Toru. Aoyama got up and did a twirl. I'm still sparkling. Mineta looked around. Yeah. Toru frantically moved her floating gloves. I'm okay, but what do we do now? Tsuyu looked around, making sure they were alone. Right, the best move is for us to stay calm. Tsuyu is right. The worst thing we can do right now is to panic, said 13. Let's take our situation into consideration. USJ is currently filled with villains, we've been separated from the rest of the class. Right now our priority is to get you kids out of here safely, you are our number one priority. So we're going to try and get to the wall of the USJ. I'll make an opening with my black hole where you guys will escape and run back to UA and get help. That won't do, said a voice approaching them. The five of them turned to see a pale kid in a spider hoodie approach them. I can't allow you to leave. The heroes were silent for a moment. A kid. Is this kid a villain? Asked Toru. But he looks younger than us, stated Aoyama. All of you get behind me, said 13 as their instincts were telling them that this child is very dangerous. Now. Mineta scoffed. Oh, don't worry, this kid isn't a problem. Hey kid, listen to the grown-ups and go away, unless you want a good spanking. The boy simply tilted his head. Oh, don't try the silent treatment, we have a pro on our side. Right, 13. Mineta turned to get 13 to say something, but 13 was gone. 13? Hey, where did 13 go? Asked Toru as the students then began to look left and right for their teachers. Until Toru felt something drop on her. Rain? That's not rain. They all turned to Tsuyu, who was looking up at 13, who was wrapped and hanging in the air by wires piercing their flesh. Keith Diaz, run, was all 13 could say before the wires tightened, causing 13's blood to spray down onto the students. Came a screech of terror from the students. I think I'll kill you first, said the boy's voice right behind Mineta. Mineta slowly turned to see the face of the boy just feet away from him. Though the thing that got Mineta was his soulless eyes. The boy raised his arm. Tsuyu acted and used her tongue to grab Mineta as the boy swung his arm down with a thin wire following, cutting the land. Well, it looks like someone here has some skill. Toru pointed a glove. You're not a normal kid. Who are you? My name is Rue. He said calmly. I was asked to come here and handle one of the heroes. Though I have to say I'm sorely disappointed, as he looked up at 13. I expected something stronger. Or something to at least give me a little entertainment. I sort of wish now I could go and handle the other one. So please show me something a bit better. Oh. What the hell is with these kids? Screamed a villain before getting blown away by Bakugo. God damn it, yelled Bakugo as he finished his group of villains. None of these guys are real villains. They're nothing but a bunch of small fries. Both Kirishima and Mina just stood in shock as they watched Bakugo just mow down a huge wave of villains in less than 10 minutes. Like they were nothing but stuffed animals. Wow, Katsuki is really cutting through them, said Mina, holding her third defeated villain. I've only beaten 3 of these guys. Don't worry about it, Mina, said Kirishima, punching out his 8th guy. He's a lot stronger than the rest of us. Really? Mina then remembered he wasn't going all out during the training. Hey, you hung around him before school. How strong is he? Kirishima hardened himself as a villain tried to stab him. HHHMM. Well, it's kind of hard to say. When I met him, he was already doing some crazy forms of training to catch up to Demon Slayer. They came from the same school, and when Izuku disappeared, he kind of already started a lot of training, so I can't say what he can really do, but if things get too crazy, you might see what he can really do, as he head-butted the guy who tried to stab him. Though I can tell you this, he's only using a fraction of his real strength. Mina could only look at Bakugo in awe. Wonder what he could really do. I don't understand, this zone was supposed to have the second most of us, said a villain. Really, said Bakugo with a grin. Then hurry up and send them in so I can kill them. The villains stopped at that. You're trying to be a hero, right? Bakugo just got more angry. Shut up and bring someone stronger, as he began blasting. Oh. Shoto, Shiro and Ojiro were surrounded by villains in the landfall zone. Okay, I'm up for suggestions guys, said Shiro. I got a suggestion for ya, said a bird villain. You surrender and we promise to only torture you brats a little. Yeah, we'll make it nice and quick. You shitty brats won't feel a damn thing. Wait, hold up guys, we might have a challenge. Look over there, that's the kid that was with Demon Slayer and All Might last night. Some of the villains became more alert at that. Alright, spread out. Stay frosty. I couldn't agree more, said Shoto as he stepped forward a little. Shiro, Ojiro, jump, as he slammed his right foot on the ground. Flash freeze. A wave of ice quickly froze the ground and froze everyone on the ground. Lucky both Shiro and Ojiro listened to Shoto. Shiro used his tape to swing to a nearby tree, while Ojiro used his tail to jump high enough to avoid the ice. Though unfortunately some of the villains heard the advice and jumped. Holy shit. Did you guys see that? What do we do? You go down, said Ojiro as he slammed his tail into one of the villains. Here comes the spectacular Shiro, as Shiro began to wrap up the remaining villains and send them towards Shoto to freeze. Oh yeah, you can't get us that easily, as he whipped one of his tape elbows with a rock at the end, hitting a villain in the head. Don't knock all of them out, said Shoto. We still need some answers, as the bird villain tried charging him. Shoto freezed him. Thanks for volunteering. I got questions, as he froze all but the villain's head. You know, I think that's worse, said Ojiro. You're going to unfreeze him, right? Shoto turned and glared a little at Ojiro. Shiro landed next to him. I have to side with Ojiro on this one. Shoto then began to unfreeze some of them. Fine, just make sure they're tied up and he pointed to the bird villain. You're still going to answer my questions, got it? Yes sir, said the villain before he began to sing. Oh. In the rain zone, Tokoyami, Kota and Ida were trying their best to avoid the villains chasing them. We must hurry and find the exit, yelled Ida. I don't think they will let it be that easy, said Tokoyami as he noticed several villains chasing them. We have to fight or else they'll kill us. Kota then began to shake his head. I understand, but we're still students, said Ida. We might get in trouble if we use our quirks without permission. We should run and find a teacher. Tokoyami and Kota only stared at Ida. Ye was right. You do have a stick up your ass, as he stopped and faced the villains. You can run, but me and Dark Shadow will face our opponent head on. A dark mass then grew off of Tokoyami. Oh yeah, let's do it, said Dark Shadow. Tokoyami shouted Ida, but to his surprise he was now running alone. Kota, are you staying as well? Kota nodded. Ida then realized that they're right. Alright then, let's fight, as he rushed past Tokoyami and kicked a villain in the face. Get off of our campus. Not the battle cry I would go with, but very well, said Tokoyami as they joined the fray. Oh. In the mountain zone, Denki, Momo, Jiro and Ye were also surrounded by villains. Shit, this doesn't look good. Alright, time to man up, thought Denki. Okay girls, stay behind me and I'll protect you. As the words left Denki's mouth, Ye rushed forward firing at the villains, taking 3 of them down before they could make a move. Come and get some, you fuckers. You can show some respect, Ye, said Momo, taking the initiative and charging forward with her bow staff, hit a villain, blocked another as she made something in her hand before sticking it on a villain. It was a small rectangle that soon exploded and sent the villain back into his friends. While you can move, said Ye, striking a villain down with her knife, before switching to her revolver to fire more shots. You ain't leaving me in the dust, said Momo as she produced more bombs and sent them flying with her bow staff at the villains. Denki dropped his jaw as he saw just how much ass the two were kicking. Jiro put a hand on his shoulder. So what was that about protecting them? Come on, let's get these two, said a criminal pointing to Denki and Jiro. Strike at the weak ones first. Jiro then attached her headphone jacks to her boots. Think again. Sonic wave as Jiro sent a sound wave knocking several down. Yeah, rock out phones, said Ye as she kicked a guy in the balls. Momo made a crossbow that fired boxing glove arrows. Make sure they stay down. As one glove hit a guy in the face, Denki cried a single tear. I'm the weakest leak here. Denki couldn't help but feel his pride taking a massive blow. He began to shake with shame then rage. And oh, I ain't going to be the one that does nothing, as he charged a group of villains. 1,000,000-volt discharge. As he sent 1,000,000 volts at a group of villains, whipping them out. Wee as he began thrusting a thumbs up. Momo had just gotten done knocking out another villain. Kaminari, you okay? Wee. Ye saw this standing on top of a pile of criminals she took out. She raised an eyebrow. Did he really fry himself? Seriously? Hey, he did take out a solid group of guys for us, pointed out Jiro. Though I can't deny he does look kind of stupid like this. Wee. Oh. The remaining students were left at the entrance of the USJ, Melissa, Sato, Shoji, and Ochako. Where did everyone go? Asked Ochako. I think they got teleported somewhere, said Melissa as she checked her phone. I'm still getting a signal from Ye's phone, but I can't reach anyone on the outside. We got a bigger problem, said Sato as he was looking down to the center of the USJ. Aizawa is surrounded and that teleport guy took Demon Slayer away. I don't see him at all. Melissa then quickly tabbed on her phone as she remembered her backup. When I first made my heart monitor, I made a lung monitor for Izuku. He agreed to have it in his hero suit and I don't think he's taken it out yet. Izuku was nearby. The data is fuzzy but it looks like he's somewhere over there. Melissa pointed over at the lake zone. He's not moving. I think he's trapped, said Shoji as he pointed several ears over at the lake zone. It's hard to make all of it out but I hear chatter about trapping Demon Slayer. I think they put him under the water. Melissa then digested the information. Izuku needs his lungs to use his quirk. If he goes too long without air he can't use his quirk properly. This trap is land for Izuku. They're going to drown him. What do we do? Asked Sato panicking. We can't get through that horde of villains with just the four of us. No, but I can, said Ochako, stepping up. If I cancel out my gravity, you three and throw me with Melissa's sword whip. Melissa thought it over. That could work but... We don't have time to hesitate, we need to act now, said Shoji. Melissa nodded. Okay, let's do it, she grabbed her whip. Hold it, said Sato as he broke apart a piece of the floor. Use this Ochako. You might need a crash landing or something to break the water. Right, Ochako cancelled the gravity on the rock as she hugged it, turning her into a ball. Let's go. Melissa wrapped her whip around Ochako. Here we go as Melissa, Shoji, and Sato grabbed the whip and summoned all their strength and whipped Ochako into the air. Ochako flew through the air at a high speed. I'm going to need to time this just right. As the lake zone grew closer, Ochako returned her gravity and fell fast. As she now was pointing straight down. She took a deep breath before crashing towards the water. Oh. All right, we got him tied down, said the villain before answering the radio. Yes, sir. What is the status of Demon Slayer? Asked Shigaraki. We got him chained down like planned. Now all we have to do is wait until he's out of air. Good, no one's gone near him, have they? One did, and for a brief moment Demon Slayer used him to get one arm free, but we quickly rechained him. You were right, this brat is dangerous. Killing him slowly is the best way. Just make sure he drowns, I don't want him leaving there alive, demanded Shigaraki. Don't worry, boss, we'll make sure he's dead. You ain't the only one who wants to see this brat dead. Good, call back when he's dead, as Shigaraki ended the transmission. Alright, now we just wait and dash. The villain didn't finish as a giant rock landed on his head. All of the aquatic villains looked to see a girl riding a rock dropping down into the lake. With the added weight, Ochako was able to reach the bottom in a matter of seconds right next to Izuku. Ochako, thought Izuku, seeing his friend. What is she doing here? Saving me, but she's at a disadvantage in the water, she'll only get herself killed. Ochako made eye contact with Izuku. He tried to shake his head to convince her to resurface and get away. Who's this brat? Asked one of them. Who cares, kill her. Come here, Snacky, said a shark villain as he opened his jaw to eat Ochako, only to eat one of her jet boots boost. Gah! Ochako used her boots to propel herself to Izuku. Izuku was still trying to warn her to get away, but Ochako was ignoring it. I can't let you die, Izuku. I won't leave you, she thought as she tried to pull on the chains holding Izuku down. She even tried to use her quirk on the chains. These won't budge. She looked to see several villains coming for the kill. Izuku saw this and tried to say something to get Ochako to get away, but couldn't. Ochako then tossed her vizier away and did the last thing Izuku suspected as she smashed her lips onto his. For a fraction of a second Izuku's brain stopped working until he felt Ochako pushing her air into him. With her quirk taking enough of the weight off of the chains and her giving him air. Breath of water, whirlpool. Izuku pulled the chains before twisting his body around, using the chain as a sword, hitting the villains holding him down. I'm free, time to go. As he kicked off the floor, pushing upward. No you don't, you bastard, yelled the villains as they charged. Ochako then used her boots to send them upward and away from the villains. Shigaraki's going to kill us. Both Izuku and Ochako broke the surface of the lake and filled their lungs with air as they made their way to the boat. Izuku was quickly regulating his breathing and recovered quickly. Thanks for the save, Ochako. Ochako blushed a little. Of course. I mean, you would do the same for me. Izuku blushed as well, remembering the lip contact. Yeah. Izuku then turned serious as a villain jumped out of the water. Izuku breathed and kicked one of the railing to the boat, breaking one of the bars off. He grabbed it and used it as a makeshift sword, hitting the villain off the boat. We still have a problem here. Ochako got to her feet, looking around as the villains surfaced and surrounded the boat they were on. Do you think Summit UA will come and help? Hopefully, said Izuku as he scanned the criminals. I know there was supposed to be a third teacher here. Hey, how did you know I was drowning? Melissa, she said you left your lung monitor in your suit. My lung monitor. Izuku smiled. My lung monitor and Melissa's heart monitor are connected to mine, Melissa, Yae, Tomo, and Sensei. If they can't get a signal, they get a notice, right? Yep. Oh. Are you sure there is a problem at the USJ? Asked All Might, getting worried. Melissa connected those monitors to the SHIELD satellite, said Yushiro as he kept trying to connect to the others. Something is blocking the signals. Sir, shouldn't we head over? Said Tomo. There's clearly something wrong. She's right, said Nizu. I can't get a hold of Eraserhead or 13. We have our own communication tower here on campus for emergencies. If we can't connect, that means something is blocking it. Tomo was now very worried. We have to do something. Of course, I gather the other teachers immediately, said Nizu. The three of us will head to USJ right now, said Yushiro All Might. Let's go, said All Might turning big. Tomo, teleport us to the USJ now. Yes sir, as Tomo grabbed both Yushiro and All Might's hands. She concentrated for a moment before teleporting them away. Though they didn't reappear at the USJ, instead they appeared somewhere else. What? But I targeted the USJ. All Might looked around. This looks like the halfway point to the USJ. Was the USJ out of range? No, I can teleport us all the way back to Saijiri. Yoshiro quickly realized what happened. Tomo head to the USJ, now. Tomo was about to argue. No arguing, me and All Might will catch up, quickly use Hawk's quirk and get to the USJ, now. Tomo could see something in Yoshiro's eyes that she's rarely seen. Fear. Tomo thought he was afraid something's happening to the students. Okay, as she sprouted wings and flew away. All Might bent down for Yoshiro to get on. We should hurry ourselves. No. What? Back when I worked with Lariat, he had a few friends. Two of them were twins, one with a teleportation quirk and the other had a strange teleportation quirk. It wouldn't allow him to teleport himself, but it did allow him to piggyback off of others or change the destination of those with teleportation quirks. Explained Yoshiro. All Might's eyes widened as he began to connect the dots. Both mysteriously disappeared. You killed them, didn't you? Come out, boy. It's been a while since we've had a chat. Ha 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 ha. I knew I would see both of you again, but I never imagined it would be at the same time. Both Yoshiro and All Might turned to a group of trees as they began to shimmer like a mirage before disappearing. It's good to see both of you again. All Might began to seethe with rage. All for one. Chapter 29 Reunion and Meetings. To say tensions were high would be an understatement, as the number one hero, a demon, stared down the biggest evil. None of them moved as they waited for the other to make the first move. Are we going to waste the day just staring at each other, or are we going to get down to business, said All for One. Oh, I'm all for messing up your face even more, said All Might as he was more than ready to begin pounding the villain. Yoshiro held his hand out. Hold it, before we get started and I finally have a chance to talk with you, boy. I want to know something. Why? Why did you do it? All for One became quiet, almost confused by the question. What do you mean? When we first met, you and your brother were on your own. All you cared about was providing for him, that was all you cared about. When we parted ways, you refused my offer to travel with me because you wanted to stay in the same place you and your brother grew up in. I left you money, I even left you several ways to contact me if anything went wrong. So why, what drove you to walk down this path? Tell me, why in the world would you betray your brother who stayed by your side while you were ostracized by the people around you? At least tell me why you would betray him. All for One was silent by this. For a long moment he couldn't say a word. Through frustration and anger began to swell. Both All Might and Yoshiro could see this. They expected some form of angry response, but instead All for One just began laughing. Over 100 years and you're asking that now? You digging up some ancient history there, Mr. Yoshiro? Well, I never had the chance to ask it before, with all the fighting and the amount of times you tried to take over the world. World domination? Is that what you think I'm after? It's one idea, but we can talk about that later. We need to stay focused on the important facts with the little time you have left, said Yoshiro as he looked at All for One from a medical standpoint. If I had to guess, you have about 30 years left in you. That's good. My doctor told me that I only had 20 years left to live, but with your experience I'll take your word, said All for One. That poison you made did a real number on me. I've had to constantly switch out quirks to keep it at bay, quirk after quirk. Do you have any idea how many quirks I've lost thanks to you? Not enough apparently, said Yushiro. I think you should watch your mouth. They won't let a demon like you play hero, if they hear you talk like that. Said All Might. With the amount you've killed, the lives you've destroyed, you're more of a monster than Yushiro will ever be. Sorry All Might, I guess we were leaving you out of the conversation, as All for One acknowledged him. How's the search for a new candidate? Before I die, I would very much like to get rid of that annoying quirk my brother made. Yushiro narrowed his eyes. That won't happen. If there's one good thing about meeting you, it would be meeting your brother, a true hero. There was a pause for a moment as Yushiro let his words set in. Looks like the talks are over. All Might, take him down. With pleasure, as All Might charged. Oh. Ochako was keeping a few villains that were climbing on the boat at bay. This isn't good, they have the advantage here. I hate to say it, but we should escape. We could if I cancelled our gravity and Izuku jumped us to the shore. Izuku, I think we dash, though when she turned she saw that Izuku was nowhere to be seen. She then looked over to the water. Izuku. Suddenly a huge geyser of water shot up. In the air, Izuku was using his piece of railing and hitting the villains left and right. Within a blink of an eye, Izuku was able to take the rest of the aquatic villains out. He then landed back on the boat just as Ochako finished off the two that made it to the boat. Ochako, you okay? Yeah, how about you? I have a lung full of air, and a weapon in hand, as he looked at the piece of the boat's railing with disappointment. Izuku? They took my sword, and when that happened they took advantage and tried to trap me at the bottom of this lake. I became defenseless when they took my weapon away, and even though I've trained in unarmed combat, I'm still lacking to the point I actually overreacted when I lost my sword. I've never fought without it, as Izuku's grip on the railing tightened. I should have stayed calm and not reacted as much and have more confidence in my hand-to-hand combat. Then maybe. Izuku stopped as Ochako hit him with a punch to the shoulder. He looked to see her giving him a big smile. It's okay, it just means you have something to work on. You just need to keep calm and stay on your toes. So don't treat yourself so harshly, okay? Izuku remembered their first meeting. Yeah, you're right, I can work on that after we get out of this, thanks Ochako. Ochako smiled back. Don't worry, and when this is over I'll help with your training if you want. Okay, but we should get back to the others. This fight isn't over yet. Ochako nodded as she cancelled their gravity and Izuku jumped to the shore. I think that was the rest of them, said Momo as she looked over the battlefield that was filled with several criminals, all of which were beaten into unconsciousness. This was easier than I expected. Damn it, said Ye. These chumps were pathetic. I know brats on the streets of New York that can give me a better fight than these guys. Well, at least we beat them, said Jiro as she looked over the field. Hey, where's Kaminari? I suggest you ladies stay calm if you don't want anything to happen to this idiot, said a villain wearing a skull mask who was holding Kaminari by his head. I will hurt him if he wasn't able to finish as Ye shot his arm, causing the villain to release Kaminari, and before he could react Momo threw her steel staff like a javelin, hitting him square in between the eyes. Why owe you buy cheese, was all he said before he fell. At least we're still standing, dumbass. Ye with a smug grin. Jiro went to check on Denki. Hey, you okay? Kaminari sat up, but struggled as he was still fried. He. Did I win? Yeah, you did, big guy. Yee. Come on, said Momo, getting their attention. We should get back to the entrance of the USJ. The others are most likely there. Momo, right, said Ye. Hopefully we can fight more of these idiots on the way. For the last time, Ye, that's. Momo stopped as she realized what Ye said. Wait, what did you just say? Oh, you don't like that. Okay, I'll keep calling you Magic Tits, as she began walking off. No, no, no. Use my name. Jiro sighed at the two as she grabbed Kaminari's arm. Let's go after them. WWE. Oh. In the center of USJ, Aizawa was being surrounded by more and more villains. These guys are switching out. Those that are injured are in the back now. These guys are actually rotating. Who the hell is in charge of all this? As he tossed another smaller villain, and to his surprise another villain caught him. They really are working together. In all of my hero career I've never seen this before form such a large group. Just who the hell is the boss here? The villains then tried a pincer attack. Shit. Armored Heart Punch. As several villains were sent flying. Melissa began to punch villains left and right as she carved a path to Eraserhead. Aizawa-sensei, we're here to help. What? As Eraserhead saw that both Shoji and Sato were behind her and taking their own villains out. All of you go back, this is no place for students. Melissa then whipped a villain. With all due respect, sir, no way. My uncle would never leave someone behind, and neither will I. It wouldn't be very heroic if we did, said one of Shoji's mouths, which also surprised some villains long enough for him to land several punches. Even if we are in training, we are still trying to be heroes, yelled Sato as he tossed a villain away. Soon all four of them were back to back. We are going to fight, and if we go down as heroes. You brats, said Aizawa as he gave up trying to tell them to leave. Though as they grouped together he noticed something was off. The villains, they've slowed down. Why? Unless are they waiting for orders? They were near the center fountain. Shigaraki saw this new development and studied the newcomers. He then lifted his communicator. I don't have full detail on them, but all three of them have quirks that enhance strength. An orange wrestler, a Mutleon fighter, and a girl with a lot of strength. Gunner Squad separate them and have the Blade Squad go for the wrestle. He's the weakest one there. His comrades will try and save him, take that opportunity and kill the pro and the girl. By her movements I believe the girl to be Demon Slayer's friend, she might be trouble. So make her a priority along with Eraserhead, get them both while they're protecting the others. Roger, came several voices over the communicator. Overhaul watched this a bit surprised by Shigarki's strategy. He was able to analyze them, that quickly and formulate a strategy against them. I thought he was just a brat, since when did he know how to strategize? You're impressed, aren't you? Said Kurogiri, seeing Overhaul's expression. For the past few months during recruiting, Shigaraki has been leading a few teams here and there on several successful operations. Either bank heist or to take out heroes. Not only did it get several criminals to join, but it also showed them how excellent Shigaraki can be when he puts his mind to something, and it's all thanks to you. When you showed up, it drove him to do more, and clearly All for One was right picking him. Overhaul didn't care for praise, especially at Shigaraki, but it did make it clear why All for One kept Shigaraki around. So he isn't just chaos, he's like a diamond in the rough, huh? Something like that, yes, said Kurogiri as he watched the battle. We expect big things from him. What are you, his mother? Hey, can I join in yet? Asked Rappa. Tengai sighed at his partner's impatience. Rappa, they will ask for you when you are needed. Rappa tried to punch him as he put up his shield. Shut up, by the time I join all the fighting will be over. Overhaul was beginning to get annoyed with Rappa. Maybe I should kill him for a moment. Maybe that will calm him down. Hey Overhaul, as Shigaraki got his attention. I'd hate to waste his strength on something like Eraserhead, but if it keeps him quiet then you can send him in. It isn't wise to keep some people chained up. Overhaul didn't like the fact he was taking advice from Shigaraki, but he couldn't deny he was right. Fine, Rappa. Rappa's face lit up like a kid on Christmas. You can dash. Hey assholes, all the villains turned to see Bakugo, Kirishima, and Mina standing on top of some criminals. If you want a fight, we'll give you one. Oh yeah, yelled Rappa as he got ready for the fight. Bring it on. Several other minor villains were about to step in. Hold it, let him have this fight, said Shigaraki. Maybe killing them will calm him down. Bakugo saw that Shigaraki was the one giving orders. You're the asshole boss man giving orders, right? Shigaraki narrowed his eyes at him. I'll take that as a yes. Don't talk like I'm not here, shouted Rappa as he charged at Bakugo. Bakugo got in a fighting stance ready to blow the guy away, when Kirishima got intercepted. Okay, you die first. As Rappa began to punch Kirishima only to find his punches weren't hitting the boy hard enough. What my punches are, what's going on? He's deflecting them, no they're sliding off. Kirishima then saw an opening and countered with a red uppercut. An uppercut that was able to knock Rappa back a few steps. If I hadn't learned to shape my hardened parts then his punches would have knocked me out. His power is crazy, but if I keep deflecting his blows with hardened flattened, then just maybe I can hold my ground. Kirishima was holding his ground. Bakugo, go and finish this, you take out the head and the rest will fall. I'll handle this guy. You landed one hit, said Rappa as he began another volley of blows. Don't get cocky, you brat. Kirishima, yelled Mina as she saw Kirishima get hit. Bakugo saw this for a moment and was surprised before he began grinning. Don't you dare die, Red, I'll end this quick. Bakugo, we need to help him, pleaded Mina. No, as Kirishima used the momentum from Rappa's punch to spin and give Rappa a doubled force backhand right in the jaw. I got this, backed Bakugo up. Not bad, bra dash as Rappa paused for a moment. No, your eyes show you're a real man. Then fight me man to man. Mina begrudgingly listened to Kirishima as she chased after Bakugo. Please be okay. Bakugo slowly made his way to Shigaraki, seeing that Tengai stepped in Bakugo's path and brought up his shield. Sorry, young man, but you're not getting through. Bakugo, without losing a step, made his left fingers fold to make a circle and placed it right on top of the barrier, then put his right hand on top of his left. AP shot. What came next shocked all of the villains and for a moment stopped all the fighting as everyone saw Tengai's barrier shatter and the blast sending his charred body flying into the fountain. Overhaul's eyes shot wide open at this. That boy just shattered Tengai's barrier. How? Tengai's barrier has withstood missiles, Rappa, even an angry housewife. Who is this boy? You, Toya, and Soramitsu of the 8 Precepts of Death stepped in his way. You're not getting anywhere close to Overhaul. Overhaul. Everyone now turned the other direction to see Izuku and Ochako. Izuku was looking at all the villains before his eyes landed on Overhaul. Plague Doctor Mask. Izuku's face slowly turned into absolute rage. You're Overhaul. You're the one that hurt Eri. Well, this doesn't look good, came a voice. Shigaraki turned to see some good news. Rue. Oh. A few minutes earlier. In the forest area, the students were running for their lives. After Rue showed how powerful he was, none of the students thought for a moment they stood a chance. "Over there, the exit," shouted Mineta as he made a dash for the exit. "Mineta," shouted Tsuyu as she extended her tongue and grabbed Mineta. "Hey, what are you doing?" as he struggled against Tsuyu's tongue. "Mineta, wait, look," said Toru as she threw her glove in the direction of exit, only for it to be sliced into pieces. He blocked the exit with his string. "Indeed," said Rue, who was not too far behind them. "You're pathetic prey, but I have a job to do. So please die now," as he sent several strings at them. They all dove to the ground to avoid being diced into pieces. Aoyama got up and faced Rue. Naval laser, as he shot a laser at Rue, who easily dodged it. "Ha! He dodged it?" Rue noticed the reaction. "Please tell me that wasn't a serious attack." Aoyama began to freak the fuck out and started firing his laser at a rapid fire rate. Rue began dodging the lasers left and right, but all the students could tell it was taking minimum effort to dodge them. Better, but still boring. Rue then began to ship his string around until he had Aoyama's limbs wrapped up. With a flick of his wrist, he slammed Aoyama into a tree, making the crunching sound of broken bones. Despite this, Aoyama was unconscious yet. The shock kept him awake. "Still awake, I see. I guess I should give you a chance to say some last words." Though Aoyama was silent as he looked up at his killer. "Nothing then," Rue then sniffed the air. "Did you just shit yourself?" Rue then did a backflip to dodge the rocks being thrown at him. "Stay away," said Sui as she and Toru began to toss rocks at him. Rue rolled his eyes as he simply threw Aoyama at them. "I gotcha," as Tsuyu caught him. "Hang in there, Aoyama, we'll get you to recover, girl." "That won't be happening." Before Rue could attack, Mineta started tossing his balls at Rue. Rue easily dodged as he wondered what they were. "What are these? Do they explode? Are they full of acid?" Rue then felt his hand hit something. One of the balls was stuck against the tree, and Rue's hand hit it. Mineta then laughed like a madman. "Gotcha now. You're trapped, so surrender." Rue raised an eyebrow as he pulled his arm, ripping the ball off of the tree along with some bark. "What the?" He then wiggled his arm in the air trying to get it off. "It's sticky." "Oh no, it didn't work." "Did you really think that getting hit by one ball would be enough?" said Toru. "Well, it's still stuck to him." Rue then extended his arm before placing some string on top. He then used it to cut his hand, causing the ball to fly off along with a lot of his blood. "What the hell, you cut you hand?" "Oh, the part of the skin that was stuck to your annoying ball." As Rue held up the hand to show the cut wasn't that bad. Toru and Mineta stood in shock and in horror at the little boy who without hesitation cut himself to get rid of a small annoyance. "Doesn't that hurt?" Rue tilted his head, surprised at the concern. "It's minor, compared to the pain I've felt before. Small pain like this is easy to get over when you've been at death's door." "You can say that with a straight face." Toru was just shocked by this boy and horrified. "Just what have you been through?" "That shouldn't concern you right now, especially since I just eliminated your last advantage," as he pointed to Toru's leg where he got some of his blood on her. "Now I have you. Just because you can track me doesn't mean you can get me." "Yes it does," as string wrapped around Toru's body. "All I need to know is one point of your body and I can map out the rest in my head. Though I am a little surprised with how little resistance there is on you. Have you no shame to be walking around like that?" "I get it, why does everyone keep bringing it up?" Before Toru was thrown at Mineta, wrapping them both in thread, immobilizing them. "It doesn't matter now, the four of you are as good as dead now. That's when Rue did a head count and noticed that there was one missing. Where's the frog girl? Last time I saw her she was taking that boy away. He looked over and saw Aoyama laying under a tree. Did she leave you behind? Not the worst move to do, but unexpected to say the least. He kept looking but couldn't see her in sight. I guess she really did leave, oh well. Time to kill the rest of you. As Rue moved in for the kill, he felt something coming from behind him. He turned, swinging his threads, cutting several rocks that were being thrown at him. Before he could react, Tsuyu was on him. He tried, but she then spit up a glob of mucus, hitting him in his face, blinding him. As he tried to clean his face, Tsuyu jumped on him, trying to tackle him to the ground. Rue, even though he couldn't see at the moment, used the momentum and flipped her off of him by rolling back. Before she hit the ground, Rue used his strings to grab her and slam her hard into the ground. Tsuyu had the air knocked out of her. She couldn't move as all of her limbs were bound by the string. She was trapped. She was completely at his mercy as the string pulled her into the air slightly above Rue. Rue was finally able to use his sleeve to wipe off the mucus. I will admit, out of all of you, that was the best I saw today. You were able to move without me detecting you. I know you may find this hard to believe, but that is impressive. Not many people have successfully snuck up on me like that. So I have to ask, why didn't you run? Tsuyu looked at him with confusion. You had several opportunities to run, so why didn't you? Do you not value your own life? Tsuyu looked at him while hope was slowly leaving her eyes. She could tell this was most likely the end. I was going to leave them. Rue tilted his head slightly, not expecting honesty. I was going to leave them. After I caught Aoyama and put him down, I initially was going to come back and help the others, but I stopped. I thought of my family, my siblings, and I wanted to live. I want to live, but I knew I wouldn't be able to face my siblings if I ran like a coward. I wouldn't be able to become the hero they wanted or I wanted. Rue was silent as memories flooded his brain. So you came back because you thought your siblings would think less of you. Images of Rue's siblings popped in his head, and then the images of the two siblings that led to his defeat hundreds of years ago. Tsuyu closed her eyes as she waited for her surprise, though she felt herself slowly being lowered to the ground. She opened her eyes as she was being gently placed on the ground. The sting then loosened around her. She turned to see Toru and Mineta untie each other, and 13 dropped from the thread that held the hero in the air. Are you letting us go? Rue turned and walked to the exit. I'm also fighting for my siblings and my family as well. Run to the exit. If I meet you on the battlefield again, I will kill you. Rue left as he let the student pick themselves up. Maybe I have gotten soft, as he remembered the way Tanjiro protected Nezuko. Or maybe it was because she gave off the same warmth you did when you speak of your family, Tanjiro. Rue made it outside of the forest zone. He was able to look at the battle. Well, this went to hell. An explosion caught his attention as he saw one of the 8 precepts of death get sent flying into the fountain. This does not look good. I guess I should hurry up and get back to Shigaraki before things get any worse. Oh. Outside between the USJ and UA, a clash between titans was taking place. All Might was fighting with all of his might against All for One, and he was winning. All for One was still in no shape to get up with All Might. He was getting hit left and right. All Might gave All for One another good right hook, sending the symbol of evil backwards. All for One quickly stood tall again as he used a telekinesis quirk to send All Might back. I see you've recovered from our last encounter. All Might stood up as well. You can thank Yashiro for doing such a good job patching me up. Yes, he is a good doctor, said All for One as he tried to search for Yashiro but couldn't detect him. Where did Yashiro go? As if in answer to his question, All for One felt a claw from a beast swiping his chest, cutting into his skin. He quickly pushed Yushiro away with enhanced strength x5, sending Yushiro through several trees. All for One quickly dodged a punched form All Might but didn't counterattack as he felt something was wrong inside his body. Using the telekinesis quirk, he forced part of his chest to burst outward. "You bastard, you poisoned me with your blood." "Damn," said Yushiro as he put himself back together. "If you hadn't noticed, you would have been unconscious within 5 minutes and dead in 10 without medical treatment." Yoshiro's legs snapped back into place, allowing him to stand. "Though my little injection alone did quite a bit of damage, didn't it?" "Indeed it did," admitted the villain. "I can't continue like this. Today is your win. I will return though, and when I do, you won't be so lucky next time." "Who says we're just going to let you escape?" as All Might punched All for One, only to find his opponent to shatter into shards of glass that disappeared. "No, we can't let him get away now. As much as I agree with you, we need to go and make sure the students are safe." All Might understood and grabbed Yushiro and rushed at full speed to USJ. Oh! Izuku and Ochako both landed on the shore next to the lake zone, though they quickly realized that they were right next to the villains. Lucky for them, though, none of them seemed to notice them yet. "Look," said Ochako as she pointed towards the group of villains surrounding Eraserhead, Melissa, Shoji, and Sato. "It looks like they're fighting them off." Though Izuku noticed that their strategy was changing. "Not for long," he said, causing Ochako to worry. "Their movements have changed and they're targeting Sato. We need to help them now." Before either of them moved, an explosion got their attention as they saw Bakugo send one of the villains flying into the fountain. "Bakugo, what is he doing? He can't take them all." "You're not getting anywhere close to Overhaul." Izuku blood froze as he heard the name Overhaul. He remembered the countless times he heard Eri scream in her sleep, the time she got scared, and the story she told of her countless deaths. Overhaul, the one that hurt her. Ochako saw Izuku's face. "Izuku?" He couldn't hear her as he was looking over the group of villains. He then noticed one of them was holding his sword. As he looked at the villain, he remembered what Eri had told him. Overhaul, the villains finally noticed them, the bird doctor mask. The one wearing the plague doctor mask looked at him. "Plague doctor mask." Izuku's face slowly turned into absolute rage. "You're Overhaul. You're the one that hurt Eri." "Well, this doesn't look good," said Rue. "Rue," said Shigaraki, seeing his comrade. "Good to see you, and yes, this doesn't look good," as he looked to see Izuku and Overhaul staring at each other. "This looks like it will get worse before it gets better." As he turned to see Bakugo blasting away 3 of Overhaul's men. "This brat is getting on my nerves. We need to kill him quick before any other surprises happen." Boom! Everyone turned to the entrance to see it destroyed and something fly through the smoke into the air. It was Tomo flying with Hawk's quirk. "All of you stop right now. I will not let any of you harm my students anymore. Surrender or I will beat you all within an inch of your life." Rue looked over at Shigaraki. "Tamura? God damn it, are you serious? How many of these fucking annoyances will we have to deal with before we can kill All Might?" said Shigaraki in frustration before groaning. "Fine, Nomu, it's time to go wild." Chapter 30: True Monster Fight. Tomo looked down at the situation. Aizawa and his group were surrounded by villains. Izuku and Ochako were staring down the villain with the plague mask. Bakugo was on the other side along with Mina, looking ready to fight the other villains, and Kirishima was currently going toe-to-toe with a fist-fighting villain. "I can't see anyone else, but the search quirk is picking them up, so they should still be alive, so that's something." She noticed that most of them were now looking up at her, though Izuku was still giving death glares to the villain. Izuku, she shouted, getting his attention. Step back right now. Izuku looked up at her surprised. You have to make sure that the other students are okay. I can't, he said as he pointed his metal rod at Overhaul. He's the one that hurt Eri. Melissa heard this and wiped her head in the direction of Izuku and then followed him and looked right at Overhaul. That's the villain that tortured Eri. Tortured Eri, repeated Aizawa. What do you mean? Melissa stammered for a moment as she didn't know if she should be worried or should she be angry. That man tortured Eri. The reason Izuku brought her to Yashiro was because she couldn't control her quirk, the same quirk that Guy was using to try and make some sort of weapon. He tortured her day in and day out. Melissa could feel the anger inside her growing as she remembered the nights where Eri would wake up screaming, having nightmares about the same man that was right in front of her. The man that had tortured a little girl and made her life a living hell. Oh. Not too far away, coming out of the mountain zone was Yae, Momo, Denki, and Jiro. When they got out, Momo told Jiro to use her headphone jacks to scout the area, and that's when Jiro heard everything and relayed everything that was being said. Momo digested this information. Yae, what dash? She stopped as she saw Yae's face. Yae was wide-eyed, but there was no mistaking the rage she felt at that moment. Yae? Yae looked at Momo. I may not have known Eri as long as Izuku or Melissa, but Yae mind flashed with moments of Eri. That girl didn't deserve any of it. I may not be the most sociable or the most understanding, but I could tell how much shit she's been through. The way she barely seemed fazed by any of the stories she was told. The way she spoke about her past was nothing short of a horror movie. Dying and then being brought back over and over again just to be tortured some more. Yae grabbed her rifle as it began to glow as she started to power her strange metal. Momo, take these two and get out of here. She began to walk off. I have a bastard to hunt. Yae yelled Momo. You can't fight that guy alone. I don't know the details, but I know you can't just go after him alone. Don't worry, I'm not the only one he's pissed off. Oh. Tomo's full attention now was on Overhaul. Rage filled every fiber of her being as she looked at him. Anger for Eri and anger for herself. When Tomo manifested her quirk, many sought after it, opening it would lead to truth behind quirks themselves. It led to the deaths of her friends and the death of her family as she was taken and experimented on for days. As the madman experimented on her without end, hoping to find the true essence of a quirk. Ironically, he did learn the truth when Yashiro and several others came to save her. He literally put the truth right into his skull. Afterwards, Yashiro took it upon himself to help Tomo, healing her, helping her, and giving her a new place to call home. Something she did for Eri as well. Eri, the little girl that she knew, went through a similar hell that she did, a hell with a tormentor that didn't get punished, one that got away. Until now. Tomo's rage grew to a new level, one that she has never felt before. Her body began to glow as she used her teleportation quirk to bring her to gauntlets that carried the rage power quirk. This caused her body and wings to be engulfed into flames. This caused several of the smaller villains to begin cowering from the flaming angel that was currently above them. The higher villains kept their cool, but that went away when Rui saw what was happening to her body. Several marks began to appear on her body, and even though she was far away, he could clearly see that kanji was appearing in her eyes. Heavenly Son, he said out loud as he began to sweat. Oh shit. Shigaraki didn't like how the revived demon was acting. Rui, what's up with this chick? She's strong, and Overhaul pissed her off, as both he and Shigaraki looked at Overhaul. Just what did you do to her? Overhaul was silent for a moment as he looked up at Tomo. They all waited to hear his explanation. I have no idea. At this, Tomo appeared right in front of him, catching him off guard, but he was able to lift his arm in time for Tomo to punch him in the arm, causing him to fly away with a shattered arm. Overhaul-sama yelled his men as they watched him sail through the air. Shigaraki still didn't care for Overhaul, but he knew if he lost him he wouldn't be able to control his men. Nomu, kill that bitch right now. Nomu particle teleported as he appeared in front of Tomo and threw a punch at her full force. To everyone's surprise, she caught it. She stopped Nomu's fist. How? Tomo looked up at Nomu. You're in my way, as a barrier severed Nomu's arm, causing it to fall to the ground. Don't worry, I'll reattach it when I'm done with dash. Tomo didn't finish as Nomu regrew his arm in almost an instant and sucker punched her. Tomo, yelled Izuku as he looked between Tomo, Nomu, and Overhaul, who just disassembled and reassembled his arm, fixing it. Izuku was about to go and check on Tomo before Nomu attacked again. Though Nomu wouldn't get the chance as several powerful exploding bullets hit him. You get the fuck away from her! Yelled Yae as she began firing rapidly not only at Nomu but also at all the villains standing in her way. Nomu turned to Yae but was blinded again when Bakugo decided it was time to jump into the action. Don't you dare leave me out, you damn fuckers! Bakugo then sent 2 point-blank explosions on Nomu's chest. Bakugo grinned for a moment thinking he did some damage, but that quickly left as he saw the wounds heal immediately. Nomu looked down at him before bringing his fist down on him. The crushing sound of concrete could be heard all around them. Bakugo, yelled Izuku. What the hell? Izuku looked to see Bakugo next to a standing Tomo. You teleported me. Tomo cracked her neck. You two stay out of this. Are you fucking kidding me? Protested Bakugo. I'm not saying do nothing. There's still a lot of villains that need to be taken down, and it looks like this guy is going to have my full attention, said Tomo as she summoned a chain around her arm. Izuku, make sure you don't let that monster leave. Overhaul slowly stood up as he checked his arm. Damn, that hurt, he screamed in his head. What the fuck is that woman? Overhaul, you dead yet? Said Shigaraki. Shut up, replied Overhaul. That bitch turned the bones in my arm to dust. Shigaraki turned to Tomo, who was now wrapping Nomu in some kind of chain. I definitely didn't see that coming, Kurogiri, as his portal man appeared next to him. Start grabbing the ones that we need to bring back with us. Overhaul, the villains looked up to see Izuku charging at them. He jumped in the air and sent several wind blades at them, separating them. When Izuku landed, he used the breath of lightning to get up close and personal. Izuku began to attack Overhaul rapidly. As he tried to dodge, he stumbled backwards and touched the ground, causing the ground around him to turn into spikes. Izuku jumped away to dodge before taking a deep breath and using the rod to break the rock spikes. Though when he did, the rod he had been using as a makeshift sword broke as well. Oh no! Oh yes, said Overhaul as he began to use his quirk to warp the ground around them into a bowl, trying to trap Izuku, but Izuku saw this coming and jumped out before the bowl could close with him in it. Why won't you hold still and die? Izuku gritted his teeth as he began to dodge Overhaul's attacks. Oh! Rue was watching this alongside Shigaraki. Should we help him? Before Shigaraki could respond, they both had to quickly dodge as an explosion was sent right at them. Fuck! Screamed Bakugo. I wanted to be the one to fight the big guy. Bakugo began to grind his teeth. Fine, if I can't fight the big guy, then I'll settle with the two of you. Shigaraki began to growl like an animal. You want to fight the big guy? That big guy was designed to fight All Might, and you think a piece of shit like you could stand up to him? Bakugo grinned. Why don't you come and find out? Shigaraki was about to charge Bakugo when Rue stopped him. Wait, I hate to say this, but your quirk wouldn't be good to fight this one. I'll handle him. I've fought someone with explosive powers before. I'm nothing like anything you've faced before, said Bagwo before raised his hand pointing to the sky. I'm the future #1 hero and I won't lose to pieces of shit like you. Rue brought out his string. We'll see. Oh. Kirishima would have found this all amazing if he could watch it, but at the moment he was blocking several blows from Rappa. Rappa kept pounding as hard as he could on Kirishima, and all Kirishima could do at the moment was deflect the blows and counter when he got a good parry in. This isn't good, but I'm not going down yet. As long as I can keep deflecting his blows I can win, or at least hold out until backup arrives. When he thought of that, something in his stomach twisted. Kirishima realized something. Would I be okay with that? Kirishima took a half step back and pushed Rappa's right hook to his right, giving Kirishima an opening. He shifted his hardness, giving him a spike on his knuckle, and punched Rappa in the jaw. I'm winning this. Rappa took the hit and felt blood in his mouth as his jaw cracked, though this just made him grin more. Yes, this is what I'm talking about. As Rappa began to hit even harder. A real fight to the death with nothing but our fists. You're a real man. Kirishima put his defenses back up. Shit, he's hitting harder now. Mina saw this while she was helping the others with the smaller villains. Kirishima, don't give up. Win this, I know you can, as she shouted words of encouragement. Break him like you broke those rocks. Though she quickly dodged an attack from a villain. Mina. He wanted to go and help, but he still had Rappa to deal with the rocks. The rocks weren't human and they didn't punch back, they just stayed in one place. Kirishima got an idea. Kirishima once more deflected Rappa's punch. That won't work, shouted Rappa as he sent a punch faster, but that's what Kirishima wanted as he grabbed the oncoming arm and twisted, turning it into an over-the-shoulder throw. Rappa was shocked. It had been years since someone had thrown him. He hit the ground but quickly was picking himself up. Not bad dash. He didn't finish as Kirishima's shoulder tackled Rappa into the ground. Kirishima quickly held him down using his right leg on Rappa's left arm and his left hand holding down Rappa's right arm. Rappa looked at Kirishima in surprise. Sorry, I'm not strong enough yet to take you head on and my friends need me. Kirishima raised right arm and brought it down hard on Rappa's face. Kirishima repeatedly punched Rappa several times in the face. Kirishima kept going, hoping he would be able to put the guy out. Don't say sorry, as Rappa raised his legs before slamming them into the ground, causing Kirishima to shake enough to loosen his hold on his right arm. Rappa then used his right hand and grabbed Kirishima's head and tossed him off. You're better than I could have dreamed of. When they told me we were going to attack here, I thought I would be disappointed with no one to fight, but you have gone far beyond my expectations for today. Hell, you're better than half of the death matches I've had. Those cowards would just run, but you're holding your ground and even putting a few good punches in. This is fantastic. Kirishima slowly got to his feet as he saw the battlefield. He saw everyone was fighting their own battles. He then saw Tomo fight Night Nomu. If Miss Tomo can hold that monster, then the least I can do is hold this one. Kirishima re-hardened himself. Come on. A grin split Rappa's bloody face. Alright, as they clashed again. Oh. Milesa was currently finishing off some of the villains that were left over. Take this, she shouted as she punched and sent another villain off into dreamland. Okay, how's everyone doing? Shoji threw another villain. I'm good here. Sato tackled one and put him in a chokehold. I'm doing fine, as he squeezed harder on the villain. Just go down, man. Aizawa, on the other hand, was using his capture tool and swinging around a villain like a wrecking ball, slamming him into all of the villains around him. He kept swinging around the poor guy until he was able to take down half of them before finally letting the poor guy go, taking out the other half that surrounded them. I'm doing fine, but how are the others doing? Not good, shouted Ochako as she released a few villains with her quirk. Izuku's in trouble. Ye began firing at the villains, not only dropping them but melting the metal so that they were now stuck to the ground. What do you mean? She fired some more at a pig-looking villain, dropping him. What's up with Izuku? He doesn't have his sword. This caused both Ye and Melissa to look a little alarmed. They knew he could fight without it, but he wasn't at 100% unless he had his sword. We need to find the villain that took his sword and get it back. Ye looked over and saw he was facing a serious opponent. Don't bother. Cover me. Ye then quickly dropped her rifle and took off her jacket. The villain saw this and tried to jump her, but Melissa and Eraserhead stopped them. Ye, what are you doing? Yelled Aizawa as he blocked a punch. Ye rolled up her tank top to expose her stomach. Just give me a sec, okay? This is going to hurt like a bitch. Ye then began to produce her metal from her stomach as her face twisted in pain. "Ya!" yelled Ochako as she saw blood begin to seep from between the metal and her stomach. Just a bit more. Ye gritted her teeth and forced her quirk into overdrive as she formed the metal into shape. With one final pull and a yell of pain, Ye ripped the newly made metal katana from her stomach. One metal katana ready to go. Ye, your stomach, it's bleeding a lot. No time, Melissa, as Ye called to her friend. You need to give this Izuku. Melissa dodged a strike. We still got a lot of baddies between us and him, as she did a backflip to dodge some bullets fired at her. The man with the gun hands grinned. What makes you think we'll ever let you get close to the boss? Suddenly several villains were blown away by a powerful blast. Ha! What the aahhhhh? As he was hit with a cannon shot. You guys look like you can use an assist, said Momo holding a cannon. Ye saw this and picked up her rifle. Bitches love cannons. Momo ignored that. So what's the situation? Right now we need to cover Melissa so she can get this sword to Izuku, as Ye held up the blade. Momo saw the blade and noticed it was missing something. Let me see it, as she grabbed the blade. It doesn't have a handle. Ye looked and realized she didn't completely form the handle. Don't worry, I got that part, as Momo wrapped her hand around the bottom of the blade and made a perfect handle with a sword guard. Melissa, catch. Melissa caught the blade as several villains blocked her path. Don't let them escape. Out of my way, yelled Melissa as she charged them, jumping in between them, punching and pushing them aside. A big guy blocked her path, but she kicked him and used him as a springboard, launching her into the air and using the villains' heads as platforms, jumped and somersaulted over all of them. She did a front flip and twisted in the air. Izuku, she shouted. Far away Izuku heard her voice and looked to see her in the air. Catch! Melissa threw the blade. As it sailed through the air, Izuku locked on and jumped into the air to catch it. The moment his hand was on it and he took a deep breath, the blade erupted in a red flame. Overhaul saw this and made several more spikes to impale Izuku, but Izuku sliced them. Izuku grinned. Nice try, but that won't work anymore. The worry was clear in Overhaul's eyes before they quickly switched to anger. You little bastard. Why? If you didn't exist, I would still have Eri and my operation would still be going smoothly, but then you just had to interfere and take what was mine, as he sent a tidal wave of rocks at him. Izuku's anger swelled. Breath of the Sun, Izuku began to run up the tidal wave of rock before it could collapse on him and cut any of the rocks falling in his way. Izuku jumped over the top of the wave. Eri isn't some object you can just use. She's a person with her own hopes and dreams. She just wants to be a normal child, but you try to rob her of that. None of what Izuku was saying made any sense to Overhaul. You think you can use her better than me? I'm the one that discovered we could use her quirk for our bullets, everyone else just wanted to toss her away, but I gave her purpose. As he made more rock spikes at Izuku, Izuku easily cut them out of his way. Eri is not yours. As Izuku cut Overhaul from his left shoulder to his right hip. The cut wasn't deep enough to kill him, but it hurt a lot. Izuku was about to pull his arm up from the strike when he felt someone grabbing his left arm. Instinct and training screamed at him, making him pull his arm back. He looked to see Shigaraki standing right next to him. When did he get so close? Izuku then looked down and saw that the sleeve on his left arm was in ruin. A destruction quirk that activates by grabbing. No, I pulled my arm away just in time. It activates when all of your fingers are touching something. Shigaraki chuckled. Very good, you certainly do live up to your reputation. Something about this guy gave Izuku the creeps. It's not just the hand getup he has. It's something else. His eyes are filled with anger at me, they crave chaos and destruction. Though for some reason he's focused solely on me. Who are you? Oh, how rude of me, I haven't introduced myself. My name is Tamura Shigaraki and I'm the leader of the League of Villains, the group that is attacking you today. Overhaul looked at Shigaraki. With help from the Shai Hasaikai, a Yakuza group, one that seems you have beef with. When he said the last part, some of his anger was let out. Why does that bother you? Shigaraki began to laugh louder. You have no idea how much of an impact you've had on my life, do you? When you appeared, Sensei began to get frustrated. He began to start wilder and wilder experiments, and that got me angry. I started to get into more fights on the street, and when that happened, a hero appeared and I actually lost. Kurogiri had to come by and save me. Me. Izuku was now somewhat freaking out inside. The look on Shigaraki's face was nothing short of pure anger and hate. His eyes screamed of his frustration, a temper tantrum of a madman. I went and got revenge on that hero and all of his sidekicks at his stupid agency. That didn't make me feel better, and then we met Overhaul. Him and his organization were a pain in the ass at first, but after me and Rua started going on walks, it all started making sense. You, All Might. I want to destroy you. Shigaraki let out a killing intent, stronger than anything that Izuku has felt before. To do that, though, I learned I couldn't kill either of you as I was nor as I am. Though today I will give it a shot and maybe unlock a secret ending. Secret ending, Izuku couldn't help but give a nervous smile. Not gonna lie, it's been a while since I heard someone use a video game term. Though I'll give you a chance to surrender. No, criminals never surrender that easily. Izuku dashed forward, going to end this quickly. Overhaul, make a sharp tent at my head. Overhaul didn't like the idea of taking orders from the man-child, but if Shigaraki had an idea on how to kill Demon Slayer, then he would indulge him. Overhaul put his hands down and sent several spikes from all around Shigaraki right at his head. Shigaraki ducked at the right time, causing Izuku to be right in the path of the spikes. Izuku shifted his weight and spun in mid-air, barely dodging the spikes. Izuku landed and decided to switch targets and dashed at Overhaul, though as if reading him like a book, Shigaraki used his quirk to disintegrate the spikes Overhaul made and had a clear shot at Izuku. Gotcha. As Shigaraki touched Izuku's side. I saw that coming, said Izuku as he swung his blade faster than Shigaraki, cutting Shigaraki's arm, stopping his attack. You're going to need to do better than that. Shigaraki held his arm. Damn you. My turn, said Overhaul as he used his quirk to make hundreds of thin pillars appear around them. It reminded Izuku of bamboo. Concrete bamboo. Time to end this. Izuku looked at the pillars when he saw tiny spikes begin to poke out. Oh! Izuku quickly limboed under the small long spikes that shot out of the pillar. Izuku quickly dodged as the pillars shot out more and more spikes. He tried his best but couldn't stop some of them from hitting him and nicking him. I need to get out of this. Izuku could clearly see that his paths were slowly being blocked off and the sea of spikes didn't help him. The only reason I haven't been skewered yet is because I haven't cut any down. He isn't aiming at me directly, he just knows my general location, 'cause of this he's hitting his own pillars. That's when Izuku saw one of the pillars fall because one of the spikes hit it. That's his plan, just shoot, and if something is in the way, shoot some more. If he hits one of the pillars, it just gets it out of the way so more can shoot at me. Another pillar fell, giving more room for him to be shot at. I need to move. Izuku jumped, but to his surprise the pillars twisted to stop him. How Izuku cut the ones in his way, but one came and slapped him down. Izuku hit the ground hard but had to move before spikes shot at him. How? There's no way he can know where I am, right? Unless someone is telling him. Outside of the small forest of pillars, Overhaul had one hand on the ground and another hold a phone. Mimic, is he still in the same general area? Yes, boss. He's still there, I'm right below him, said Mimic as he was moving the earth below Izuku. I was able to smack him before he got away. Good, keep me updated and keep the ground moving, said Overhaul. Impressive, said Shigaraki. You made several pillars with the brat in the middle and then shot tiny spikes at him, and if he tries to jump out, your guy that's not only keeping track of his location, feeding you earth to make more spikes, takes control of your pillars and smacks him back down. Indeed, it takes a lot of concentration and communication to do this, so be silent, said Overhaul. Sure, but quick question, why not just make a dome and crush him inside? That's what I'm doing, said Overhaul. Mimic is not only feeding me more earth, but he's also moving it so that Demon Slayer will stay in the middle, so he can't run out. He's also preparing to drop him under the ground. If you're wondering why I don't just make one now, it's because it would give him too many openings to escape. I'm not strong enough to do both at the same time. This way we ensure that he dies. Shigaraki looked at the trap Overhaul set up. You sure it will work? You're not the only one who's studied him. It's big enough to catch him if he tries to run at top speed and high enough so he can't just leap out. So either I bury him or the spikes get to him first, either way I win. Shigaraki stayed silent, but even he had his doubts on this plan. This is bad, I'm running out of strength, as he dodged more spikes. And they won't give me enough space to move. Even if I cut down the pillars, they reforge, and every time I try running out, the ground moves below me. Someone's down there, no doubt, but they're not coming up or giving me enough hints to locate them. If I stay here any longer, I'm going to die. Izuku racked his brain as it raced to find a solution to get out of this fight. What am I going to do? Oh. What is this guy? Asked Tomo as she put up another barrier between her and Nomu. Nomu charged and began pounding on the barrier. I've tried using quirks that mess with the mind and quirks that paralyze, but nothing is working. Tomo then summoned several spears. Okay, time for some drastic measures. Tomo snapped her finger, all of the spear disappeared and reappeared, impaling Nomu in his limbs, causing blood to pour out of the creature, but it still had no reaction. She snapped her fingers again and a belt full of needles appeared with one more snap. All of the needles were now piercing a part of the Nomu's body. Tomo stopped for a moment to see what the Nomu would do, and to her disappointment, the Nomu simply looked at his body before roaring and continued punching the barrier. Those needles are currently serving your goddamn nervous system. How in the world can you move? What are you? Tomo took out a deck of cards that separated and floated around her before she flicked her wrist, causing the cards to fly at Nomu. The cards cut off his arms and went right through the creature until the last card removed the creature's torso from the rest of his body. Tomo watched as the lower part of the body slammed to the ground. If you're dead, I'm sorry, though the doctor in me is also saying that this won't kill you. The Nomu's lower half stood up before shooting out a massive geyser of smoke from its lower half, temporarily blocking Tomo's view. Tomo put back up the barrier just in time for Nomu to start hammering it again. It healed so fast, but could this monster have demon blood? Oh. Rue was having a difficult time dealing with Bakugo. This brat is stronger than I expected. His explosions are actually powerful enough to destroy my thread, which I tested is stronger than high-grade titanium. Rue then set several threads at Bakugo, who simply countered again with his explosions. Rue used the explosions to his advantage and attacked when Bakugo couldn't see him and whipped his strings to attack Bakugo from behind, though to his surprise he was able to counter without even turning around to the threads. So you're able to counter attacks that you can't see. You're definitely better than those kids I was fighting earlier. Please don't you dare even try to compare me with those scrubs. I've been training since I was a kid. I know all the ins and out of my quirk, so trying to use my own explosions against me won't work, said Bakugo, grinning. This brat isn't normal. He looks like a kid, and yet the way he talks and moves, it's like he's had years practicing with his quirk. Part of me knows I can't take him lightly, but the other part of me knows I should finish this. Should I charge or let him make the first move? Rue was having similar thoughts. This boy is good. If this was back when I was first a demon, I wouldn't hesitate toying with him and killing him, but his explosion quirk is a problem, and not to mention my body isn't as strong as my old body, not to mention I don't have my quick healing factor anymore. If I cut my head, I won't be coming back. I can't be careless. It's rare for a person to have a second chance like me, and I will not waste it. Rue held his hand up as he used his string to cut his finger slightly. The blood then coated the string. I guess now would be a good time to test out my demon blood art. Bagwo saw this and came to his conclusion. You're making your strings stronger, aren't you? If you have any last words, I suggest you say them now, as Rue whipped his hand, sending the red string at Bakugo. The hero in training grinned. You weren't the only one holding back. Bakugo then began a rapid-fire barrage of explosions that were easily triple the power of the explosions he was using earlier. To Rue's horror, his strings were breaking. No way, his explosions are stronger than Nezuko's. Who is this? As the smoke cleared from the explosions, Rue could see Bakugo's mad grin. He's a monster. Rue quickly readied more string, but then Bakugo used his explosions to launch himself at Rue. He quickly put up a barrier of string to stop him, but Bakugo just destroyed it with another explosion. Playtime's over, you damn brat. Bagwo held his hands together. Burst shot. The explosion hit Rue full force, sending him flying. Rue landed with a massive slam into the ground. He tried to get up when he saw Bagwo walking his way. You assholes seem to forget something here. I'm the hero here. Bakugo then began powering another shot. The hero that's going to kick your ass. BBBOOMMMM. Izuku then remembered the technique that could get him out of this. Could that work? Izuku was outside training when he saw his sensei. Oh, welcome back, sensei. How was China? Izuku then noticed the serious look Yashiro had. It was fine. I met an interesting boy named Jack, but I can tell you more later. But please tell me what you were doing, said Yashiro with a hardened tone. Oh, I'm practicing the breathing style that we missed. What do you mean missed? Oh well, I went down to the library and saw there was another journal we haven't gone over yet. Izuku held up the old dusty journal to Yashiro. Yashiro took the journal. Izuku, I didn't show you this journal for a reason. This breathing style isn't meant to be used by humans. It's not? No, In fact, I didn't even write this journal. A demon slayer years ago wrote this to try and figure it out. Though we both came to the conclusion that this shouldn't be used. What? Why? The man that made this style was a man who became a demon for the sole purpose of surpassing his brother. You can't even use this style properly without being a demon. But I did, Yoshiro snapped his head to Izuku. I mean, I had to tweak a few things, but I figured out how to use the first 3 techniques. You did what? That's impossible. How did No, said Yoshiro, putting his hand up. Izuku, I would like you to focus on the other breathing styles first before we even think about you even practicing this one. Understood. Yes, sir. Izuku felt a little disappointed because part of him wanted to continue working on that breathing style, but he followed his master's wishes. Sorry, sensei, but I'm going to have to use it. Izuku took a deep breath and sheathed his sword. The moment he stood still, the pillars all shot more spikes at Izuku, but right before they hit him, he moved. Breath of the Moon, third form, Loathsome Moon. Izuku quickly pulled his sword out, and when he did, several chaotic blades also came out, slicing all the pillars and blowing the spikes away. Outside, Shigaraki and Overhaul stood wide-eyed as they saw the forest of pillars get cut and sent upward. They saw Izuku look right at them. In a bolt of lightning, he charged at them. You got a plan B? Asked Shigaraki. Overhaul slammed both hands on the ground, making spikes to intercept Izuku. Breath of the Sun, Raging Sun, as he sliced the spikes away. Izuku then landed in front of the two. It's over. Surrender now. Izuku was taking deep breaths, clearly exhausted but with enough gas left to take the two down. BB boo mmm. This grabbed their attention as they saw a slightly scorched Rue get sent flying backwards. Nomu, yelled Shigaraki. Nomu turned from Tomo, who was trying to freeze the creature. Berserk mode and get over here to help us. Nomu made a mighty roar that shook the very foundation of the USJ. The Nomu's features began to change as it got bigger and stronger. Nomu jumped into the air towards its master. "Oh you don't," yelled Bakugo as he dashed towards the Nomu. The Nomu landed and turned to Bakugo. "You're mine." "Bakugo!" yelled everyone watching. Izuku got ready to dash in and help him. Tomo was about to teleport him and the others were about to rush in. "Stay out of this," as he ran in. Nomu made a big swing at Bakugo, but Bakugo saw this coming and dropped and slid right below Nomu and pointed his gauntlet at Nomu. "I was saving this for Izuku, but I guess you're a good enough test dummy." Bakugo pulled the pin. Die. The next thing everyone saw was a giant explosion bigger than any of them had ever seen. It engulfed the two as the power was sent directly right at the Nomu. The light was blinding, but some who could see had the raw power from Bakugo's gauntlet sending the Nomu upward like a rocket being propelled by several thousand bombs. Oh! Outside, All Might was running to the USJ at full speed with Yoshiro on his back. Though he stopped when they saw something fly out of the USJ. "What was that?" "I don't know," responded Yoshiro. "It looked like something big flew out of the USJ. All Might, we must hurry." "Right." Oh. Everyone was jaw-dropped at what they just saw. Even Kirishima and Rappa stopped their fight to see what just happened. Melissa looked up and saw the hole Bakugo made when he sent the monster flying. He blew a hole in the roof of the USJ. "Not even I have that power," admitted Yae. "Is Bakugo okay?" asked Momo. Everyone looked to see the massive crater where Bakugo and Nomu were, but no one could get a clear look until all the dust settled. When they did, they saw a pile of rubble at the bottom. Before anyone could scream his name, an explosion moved the rubble out of the way. Bakugo stood tall with a grin on his face. "How's that for plus ultra?" Tomo stood shocked at the boy. Holy crap! Bakugo, are you okay? Asked Izuku. Okay? What do I look like, a weak pansy? I told you I could beat the big guy, said Bakugo, though when he tried to move his arm and point at Izuku, he couldn't. Shit, I guess those nerds at the support department were right. Those mods I asked for really were too much for me to handle. Damn. It also looks like I can't use this gauntlet again either. As he saw his damaged and broken equipment, Bakugo then slightly moved his body a little and could tell that it was in worse shape than he thought. Okay, maybe doing that at point blank range isn't good, but that doesn't mean I'm out of the fight just yet. I just have to swallow the pain. Bakugo fought down the pain and began to walk out of the crater. Shigaraki, said Rue as he stood up and went to Tamura. I think it's time to call it. That kid just became ground zero to a big-ass explosion and sent our big gun flying. Overhaul didn't wait for Shigaraki's answer. Mimic, grab Rappa now. Bakugo grinned as he saw their fear. Ground zero? I like that. Shigaraki couldn't believe this. He began to punch the ground out of frustration. Damn it, damn it, damn it. Nomu was supposed to kill All Might, not to be defeated by you. He was 4 dash. Crash. Everyone turned to the entrance of the USJ. Have no fear, for I am here, yelled All Might with his entrance. Though as he looked at the USJ he could tell he missed quite a bit. He was happy to see though that the people on the floor were villains and not his students. It looks like we missed a bit. You could say that, said Yushiro as he looked down as well, mainly judging the health of the students. From the students I see, they look mostly fine, but there's clearly some that are not accounted for. So some might still be in danger. Very well, I will clean the rest of them up quickly. Several of the smaller villains began to try and direct their fire at All Might. All Might jumped down and quickly smashed them out of commission. Shigaraki growled in frustration as Kurogiri appeared before them. Shigaraki, I've grabbed all of the essential personnel. Mimic then appeared in a hole on the ground and dragged Rappa from the same hole. Hey, what gives? I was in the middle of my fight. Time to go, said Overhaul as Kurogiri began opening a portal. Hey shit, yelled Rappa as he got dragged into the portal. Shigaraki gave one final death glare to Izuku and Bakugo. This isn't over. I will be back and then I will kill you both, as the darkness disappears along with the villains. Damn cowards, said Bakugo, I still had one more gauntlet left for them. Bakugo, what was that exactly? Asked Izuku, pointing to the gauntlet. Bakugo grinned. Like it was supposed to be a little surprise for you when we fight. You were going to use that on me. You bet, though it looks like we're going to have to use it a different time. You're not using that anymore, as Bakugo's only working gauntlet disappeared. Going to Tomo. I can't believe they would let you have something like this. Do you have any idea what damage you've done to yourself? Shut it and give me my equipment back, as he tried to reach for it. Tomo simply poked Bakugo's chest as pain was sent through his whole body. Damn, that hurt. See, you've shattered several bones and have internal bleeding. Your body may be built for your explosions, but they can't take a blast that big, as Tomo began to lecture him. Bakugo growled. We don't have time for this, we still got villains to fight. As if on K, the other teachers of UA arrived at the entrance and began to fight and arrest the villains. The students rejoiced as the pros started taking down the villains, or what was left of the villains. Yushiro walked up to the three. Are you three all right? Mostly yes, but these two are going to need medical assistance, said Tomo, ignoring Bakugo who was still yelling. Yushiro, Tomo, yelled All Might holding a heavily injured 13 and Aoyama. These two need medical attention now. Tomo, let's go, said Yushiro before turning to Izuku and Bakugo. You two get all of the other students out and then head to Recovery Girl. Yes sir, said Izuku as he grabbed Bakugo, who was too weak to stop Izuku. They both went and reunited with their classmates. The fight for the USJ was over.